And we are live. How's everybody doing tonight? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and you're watching and/or listening to ABL Live. Thank y'all for being here tonight. You could be almost anywhere in the world, but you're right here with me, live on the show, and I appreciate you for that. If you enjoy the content, if you enjoy the channel at all, give the video a thumbs up, share the video. Also, if you're not subscribed yet, go ahead and do that right now. That'll help me out tremendously. We got a whole lot going on. The vaccine passport, how do you feel about that? Oh, it'd be great because we can go back to 100% capacity if everybody has a vaccine. Oh, is that right? Now, what if you don't want to get the vaccine? Are you going to be able to fly an airplane, ride in an Uber, go to school, go to work, or anywhere else? Hopefully they don't implement this anywhere. Ron DeSantis of Florida, the governor, said, hey, we're not going to do that in Florida. It's a no-go, a non-starter. So shout out to him for speaking truth to power. Also, Rand Paul, same thing. Is like, nope, not really going for it. It's funny how they say a voter ID is racist, but a vaccine passport is not racist. Also, we're going to talk about AOC getting triggered over the word surge. What's the big deal about the word surge? I don't really understand. It should be a pretty simple thing to understand. You know, you're having a border surge. Joe Biden himself has said the word surge. So what's the real problem? The George Floyd trial, the Derek Chauvin trial, is it the OJ trial? What's going on? Well, I've been watching it on TV. We'll talk about all those things and more on tonight's episode of ABL Live. And I thank y'all again for being here. You guys are the best anywhere on the internet. And I appreciate you for joining. If you enjoy the content, if you enjoy the channel, go ahead and give this particular video a thumbs up and subscribe and click that little bell when you do subscribe so you get notified whenever I go live and or post a new video. Got brand new merch, if you don't know, brand new merchandise over on ablmerch.com. A as in Anthony, B as in Brian, L as in Logan, ablmerch.com. Check it out. I survived the pandemic, whatever you want to call it. I got those hats right here and quite a few more goodies and surprises. And I'll put a lot more on the store aside from what I got right now. I got hats, shirts, mugs. I have a lot more. I have other things aside from clothing, different types of clothing, special edition hats, limited edition hats. I'm going to have all those things on the store. So check it out. So we got a whole lot going on. I'm reading the comments here. I'm going to talk about the vaccine passport first, and then I'm going to get to your friend AOC. There was some other stuff I want to talk about, too. I want to talk about, the carjacking death. That was crazy. I spoke on that last time, but I'll speak on it again because that video got some traction when I was on TV, when I was on RT. That video got a little bit of traction, so I may talk about that as well if you were wanting to know more about those types of things. You know, the carjacking, I'll talk about that in a minute. I want to get ahead of myself. Let's go to the vaccine passport, shall we? Now, all throughout the 2020 presidential election campaign cycle, we were told that requiring an identification card or something, some way to identify yourself in order to go vote was racist because black people did not have access to ID cards. Now, at the same time, they're saying that black people and other so-called people of color are underserved when it comes to getting the vaccine. Yet, you need to have your ID card to go out there and get the vaccine. A lot of the time, and if I'm wrong about that, let me know in the comments below. Then on top of that, on top of needing an ID to go get the vaccine, you also need, or you may potentially need, another ID, which is a vaccine passport. Now, as far as I know, it'll be some kind of app on your phone. Okay, so you fire your phone up, you go to X, Y, and Z place. Like, let's say you want to go to a movie theater, you want to go to a basketball game, football game, whatever it is. Okay, open your app, scan your little passport and say, okay, you got the vaccine, you good to go, right? Now, that's not saying if you have the actual virus or if you got some kind of other illness, some kind of other ailment going on. Just if you got the vaccine, then you should be good to go, according to the vaccine passport. Now, the problem, because people that support this bring up what they view as a positive side. I don't see it as positive at all, but some see the positive side. They say, hey, the way things are going right now, the basketball, the gymnasiums are closed, the football, like a lot of things are kind of closed or at low capacity. Restaurants closed or at low capacity. So if you got the vaccine passport, then it's fine. You can pretty much do whatever you want to do. But see, what if they say, okay, you need your vaccine passport to go back to work? And there's going to be no more unemployment for you if you don't want to get the vaccine or to go back to work. You got to have a vaccine passport. You should take my word for it, right? I mean, it's the same thing with voting, because they say with voting, having an ID is racist. And if I say my name is Bill Gates or Tyler Perry or Oprah Winfrey or whoever, you got to believe it, because that's just what it is. Don't ask for my ID. My name is Elon Musk. Give me my ballot. I'm going to fill it out right now. But in order to get into your job, you need to have an app on your phone that displays your vaccination status. What are we talking about here? Okay, you go from one extreme to the other. The one extreme is having no identification to go vote, but you only get one vote. You only get one vote each time you vote. Okay, if it's general election, midterm, whatever it is, you're voting for mayor, dog cat, you only get one time to vote. But that's not guarded by any kind of identification, depending upon where you live in the country. But if you want to go to your own job that you work at, if you want to go to school, if you want to be able to live normal life, you got to show not only your ID, but a thing that reveals your personal information as far as your medical status. Isn't that HIPAA violation? HIPAA violation, in this case, would refer to your medical stuff being given to a third party against your will, because maybe you don't want to do that. Maybe I don't want to tell you I got some kind of shot or some kind of treatment or some kind of surgery or something like that. Maybe I don't want that out there. But if I go to a place and I have to show my quote unquote vaccine passport, then it's already known. It doesn't even matter if my data is leaked or not. I put it to you like this. If I go to work, if I have a job that requires a vaccine passport, and it's widely known that this vaccine passport is required to go to this particular building or this job or whatever, if I go back to work, then everybody knows I got the vaccine. Maybe I don't want that out there. Just maybe. Maybe I don't want some kind of random guy scanning my vaccine passport at the front door to know that. Maybe I don't want to have so many restrictions and regulations on my regular everyday walking life. It's weird because, you know, the left talk about, oh, the right wants so many regulations on this, regulations on that. No, the party of regulations is the left. They want to regulate every single thing. They want to regulate guns to the point where you can't regulate it anymore. They want to regulate them out of existence. Okay, you can't have a magazine more than 10 rounds. You can't have a short barrel. You can't have this. You can't have that. This, and this, and this. We're going to make ammunition more expensive. We're going to make guns more expensive. Here's a tax on the guns, tax on this, tax on that. You want to tax and regulate and spend everything out of existence while pointing the finger and saying that the right are the ones that are oppressing people and suppressing their vote, suppressing their rights. That's the actual left that's doing that. I want to be able to have the right to go to my workplace or to school or anywhere else without having to display my medical status. Maybe that's my own personal information. I want it to be private. But anyway, so the federal government says, according to Jen Psaki, that they are helping the federal government, the private business to develop this. And the Fed will come in, not the Federal Reserve, the government will come in and say, okay, we're going to make sure that all the privacy and everything's on the up and up. But you trust the government with your privacy? I don't know about that one, because I think the government has quite a bit of, they got quite a bit to prove when it comes to privacy. I don't really trust them on that too much. We've seen all kind of spying going on. They spied on President Trump for no reason during the campaign. So why would I think that the government wouldn't spy on me for this whole thing here, or spy on all of us because of this whole virus situation? So no, vaccine passport, not going to be able to do it. And like I said from the beginning, shout out to Ron DeSantis, Ron Paul, and everyone else who's spoken against this. This is really crazy. But it just displays the hypocrisy that's going on here. Identification to go vote, racist. A vaccine passport on your phone to display your status is whether you got the vaccine or not, totally fine. Patriotic even is crazy. It's ridiculous, but it is what it is. This lets me know that a lot of these political people are just playing games. I've already known that for quite a while, but this just lets me know even more. Your Anthony Fauci's of the world, Deborah Birx. Did you see Deborah Birx talking about we lost a lot of lives, lost too many lives because of, improper action, inaction. I mean, these people are crazy. Dr. Fauci went on TV and said that everything was on the up and up. Everything was fine. There was no problem. Trump said and did everything we told him to do out there on stage in front of the whole world. That's what he said. Now you have Deborah Birx saying, oh, no, that's not what happened. He didn't do. I'm not trying to hear from all these so-called experts, these so-called, masters of their field. I don't want to hear it anymore. I'm just totally finished with hearing these people talk, period. That's just kind of what it is. Shout out to Hemi Ram. I can't read that. That's a funny comment, though, Hemi Ram. Shout out to you. Yeah, it's all theatrics. Thank you, Jack Burton. It's all theatrics. 1,000%. I don't believe it anymore. I've not believed a lot of what they say, meaning politicians, for a while. But this one here just kind of takes the cake for me. But shout out to all the politicos and everybody else, all the normies out there, including me, that are against this whole thing. Vaccine passport, no thank you. Now, we're not quite there yet as far as a vaccine passport rollout in the U.S., but I think it's already happened in parts of Europe. I'm thinking Norway, maybe they did one. But yeah, we don't need that here. And everybody knows how this whole thing, how it spreads, how it attacks you. We know, proper safety measures. If I want to wear a mask and wash my face every 5 minutes, okay, let me do that. That should be my prerogative. Give us more freedom to be able to defend ourselves. And the thing that really it's been kind of grinding my gears and getting under my skin is when I see people holding their vaccine card up, not the vaccine passport. They're voluntarily holding their card that says they got the vaccine, the paper card. They're holding the card up while at the same time they get a big donut in their mouth. It's like, okay, lady, you bought 785 pounds with a donut that's the size of your head in your teeth, like a dog catching the bone or a Frisbee, but you got the vaccine card talking about, oh, I'm safe now. Lady, you are the furthest thing from safe. Your weight, it said 80% of those that died from the virus were overweight or obese. 80% in America. And you wonder why Japan has a very low morbidity rate from the virus and places like Taiwan and everywhere else. Is it because they got some kind of, stellar vaccination rollout and they social distance and they wore their mask? Is it that, or is it the fact that people in Japan are much more fit? Obesity in these places is pretty rare, but over here in the States, it's kind of commonplace. Maybe that's what's going on. So if they say America has a very high morbidity, first of all, are you believing all numbers that come across the world? Do you believe everything that happens? But let's just say we are at the tops when it comes to the virus morbidity. Maybe it's the fact that you got people running around here with spare tires around their waist like it's all good. You got a whole inner tube getting ready for, a water park. Like maybe that's what's going on. Maybe you're ready for the pool right now. But anyway, maybe that's the reason. And not all the other stuff, not everything else I want to say. I want to talk about, distancing and masks. Masks don't work at all. People wear their masks, they're masketeers, never leave their house and still get it. So I'm not really trying to hear it. Not in the least bit. So yeah, shout out to everybody that is against the vaccine passport. I'm right there with you. I stand in solidarity with you 1,000%, and never forget that. So we got a whole lot going on. And shout out to people like Jill Biden. Yes, shout out to Jill Biden because she is inspirational, right? I never thought I would say this. She's very inspirational, very inclusive. You know how they say, yes, we can, right? She has her own version of Yes, We Can, if I'm not mistaken. And I think that this version of Yes, We Can is very inspirational, and you all should hear it right now live on the show. Let's check it out.
So say it with me.
If I can hear it, that'd be great. Let me turn on my speakers. There we are.
So say it with me. Si se puede. The future is ours. Thank you. So
Now, to anyone that speaks Spanish in the audience, what exactly did she say there? Si se Broadway? I mean, I'm playing about the whole inspirational thing, obviously. What is that? Si se Broadway? Anybody want to translate that? Can I get Google Translate on the horn and figure out what's exactly being said there?
So say it with me. Si se Broadway. The future is ours.
And you know what's funny? Beyond just what she said there, what's funny is that they're talking about this flag in the background. They're saying that it's some kind of Nazi flag. I have no idea what that is. You see it? I have no idea what that is. It's probably nothing, but you know what? When you live by the woke sword, you die by the woke sword. They might want to cancel Jill Biden because she's a so-called Nazi because of that random looking flag in the background. But hey, it is what it is. So shout out to C-State Broadway. He said, you don't understand it? Hey, it means I can't speak Spanish. Hilarious. You guys are funny. Shout out to everybody in the chat. You guys are hilarious. But yeah, that's what you got right now going on in Washington, D.C. in the White House. A bunch of pandering and failed pandering. That's what's going on right there. All right. It's okay. Yes, we can. I'm not sure she said the last part right. I'm not sure that Podway means can, but maybe I'm just being the bigot. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being an ableist for saying that you should speak Spanish properly. That's just me. If you're gonna speak Spanish, speak it properly. You know, don't make up words. Talking about C-Say Podway. What's that? Is that a street name? But anyway, I digress. Podway's not a Spanish word. That's what I thought. That's exactly what I thought. But like I said, I might need to just do some kind of introspection, look a little bit deeper, and see things from their point of view. Maybe Jill Biden identifies as a Spanish speaker, and I should respect her for her identification, right? Just like me, I identify as Bill Gates. So when I go to the bank and I'm like, hey, can I get the $1 billion you got in the back? And I say I'm Bill Gates. They can't call the police on me because, I identify as him. And you have to respect my identification, right? That's just how I feel, but maybe I'm wrong. Anyway, so shout out to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez for getting triggered at the term surge. Now, we all saw AOC in 2019. It's been almost 2 years, a little over 2 years, right around that, when she went to the border and had this whole this crying, or not really crying fest. I didn't see any moisture on her face. I just saw her looking disheveled and in grief, right at the border fence, with nobody on the other side of the fence except for a border agent. Matter of fact, here we go right here. Here's a picture that I want to show you guys of the world famous AOC. And this is her right there. Let's put the picture on the screen. That'll work. So that's her right there looking all somber. And you know what was funny right here was that it's kind of like a merchandise rollout. Like that lipstick she had on sold out instantly when she did this whole thing here. So she's at this border fence, looking all sad, like she's about to start crying, wearing all white for some reason. She's with a whole squad right there at the border, and they all had on white. I'll show that in a minute. She's looking all sad, like she's about to start crying because, you get the kids in their cages, and Trump's zero tolerance policy turn these kids away. They can't come into the country. They're going to die right out there outside of the border. Now, when the pictures first came out, the context was it was a bunch of kids and it was all kind of squalor and stuff like that on the other side, right? But then when you saw the other side, it's a guy right there. It's like a border patrol guard and a car and nothing else, just empty. Okay, matter of fact, there's more pictures so we can see. And I got to show these pictures so you can kind of get the full gist of what's happening. Oh, here's one that shows they all have on white. So some kind of little group she's here with. They all have on white. They're holding hands and they're halfway crying. But look at the scene here. There's nothing on the other side. It was a couple of trucks, border patrol, and nothing. That's it. So it's like, are we crying about the cars Are the cars not fancy enough, Miss AOC? What's really happening? Are you crying at the Border Patrol guy right here? What are we even doing? Now, if you look this up, AOC crying at fence, crying at border, PolitiFact will say that it's not true that she was at an empty parking lot crying, but it was a port of entry rather than an empty parking lot. It's like, okay, tomato, stop playing. The point is that there's nobody there. And what are you crying about? You crying about an empty space, a street with nobody on it, with some border patrol? But this was back in 2019 where there was this border crisis and kids in the cages and Trump's a bigot and a fascist because he has these kids laying on the ground with the little, welcome to Moe's and Chipotle burrito wraps on them. That's what they said back then a couple of years ago when there was no actual border crisis. But now that we have a significantly higher surge at the border, we'll talk about the word surge in a minute, a much higher border surge. She's like, oh, no problem there. And as a matter of fact, if you say the word surge, that means that you are a bigot. That means you are a racist. Let's play this video right here on my Instagram, Instagram.com/Anthony B. Logan. Let me pull it up right quick if I'm able to. That'd be great. And let's check it out. Yeah, AOC, not a fan of AOC. Some of you guys might like AOC the way she look. I think not, though. Anyway, I digress. So here we are. And this came from an Instagram live, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So let's check it out.
They want to say, what about the surge? Well, first of all, just gut check, stop. Anyone who's using the term surge around you consciously is trying to invoke a militaristic frame. And that's a problem because this is not a surge.
Yes, it is a surge. I mean, what else do you call it? I mean, it's always been called that as long as I've been following politics, from the left and the right, everybody in the center. Okay, everybody calls it a surge. When you have an influx of people coming to the border illegally, just kind of like all at once or more than it should be, that's a surge. It is what it is. And that's really kind of a military tactic, honestly, because you got a lot of cartels that are behind this and they behave militaristically and they're trafficking children and everything else across the border. So if you put a bunch of people at one particular or near one particular port of entry and you got Border Patrol to have to go attend to all these people and get them settled in one of these little tents or the detention facilities, whatever you want to call it, hard-sided structure, soft-sided structure. So rather than them being down there catching the drugs and the guns and the gangbangers and whatnot, they turn into little kids and grandmas and whatnot. So when they're gone, when there are less of them in that area, here comes the cartels with their drugs, with the fentanyl, with whatever. Like the sex trafficking victims, a lot of those are coming across the border. But I digress. It's actually a military tactic, the whole surge thing.
These are children.
Now, children, I'm seeing full-on gangbangers, like MA. I'm seeing people with full beards. I'm seeing these quote-unquote children with wives and children themselves. So I'm not really sure. And if you do see like little babies, like actual kids, how many of them have been trafficked across the border? Do you believe in slavery? Is slavery a good thing, AOC? I don't think it is. I think we abolished it 150 years ago. So why are you in favor of bringing it back or supporting it happening right now in Mexico or wherever they come from?
And they are not insurgents. And we are not being invaded.
I can't tell. I cannot tell. I mean, listen, if you got a house, right? You have a lock in your house, some kind of border on your house, and people they keep coming in every day. They're going to the fridge, eating your food, doing whatever. It's like, what do you call that? That's called a home invasion. So why it's not an invasion when it happens to us at our southern border? It's the same thing, right? Just maybe.
Which, by the way, is a white supremacist.
You know what? She ran with the whole white supremacist thing immediately, right? And I feel like right when she said it, she was having a hard time bridging it. I mean, is this improv comedy or what's going on here?
Idea, philosophy, the idea that if an other is coming in the population, that this is like an invasion of.
Now, before we get to your man Creepy Joe talking about what he said, it's funny how she'll say that an influx of people coming into the country illegally is not an invasion, and there's white supremacy, and it's like this whole thing about the other coming into the population, and it's an invasion and causing the problem. But people like AOC talk about justification all the time. Justification is what she's talking about, but what the border is actually bad, because justification is American citizens, right? They're coming into a place and they're changing it from what it is. It could be a low-income area to make a high income. Taxes go up. People that live there can't afford to live there anymore. But these are legal people, citizens, that move to another place in America. You're talking about illegal aliens coming into the country and doing whatever they want to do. A lot of them got the virus. A lot of them pushing drugs. A lot of them are just doing whatever. You may have some that are coming over here to not necessarily engage in criminality, but coming over here illegally is criminal itself. But check this out.
Would do as president is several more things, because things have changed. I would, in fact, make sure that we immediately surge to the border.
Surge to the border. This is 2019, right when, or 2020, right when she did the whole border stunt. This is like right around that time. So you can go out there, Joe Biden, and say, okay, we're going to do a border surge, and that's fine. That's totally fine. No kickback from AOC back when he said this last year or a couple of years ago. That was totally fine. But now all of a sudden that the right are criticizing the whole border and calling it a crisis, all of a sudden you want to be in favor of what's going on, like what's really happening. I'm having a hard time understanding. All right. Yeah, Joe don't remember too much of anything. Joe is just kind of pretty much out there. He doesn't understand what's going on. But hey, Joe has said the word surge, obviously. Barack Obama, Chuck Schumer, everybody, people on the left and the right. That's a normal term. It's not racist. You know, it's like the drink I used to drink back in the day when I was like 14 or how old, 12, 13, 14, surge. Ain't nothing but straight sugar. It's like Mountain Dew, but different story. I digress. So yeah, the term is not harmful. It's not offensive. It's not racist. It's just an accurate term for what's happening. It's a border surge. And then the pictures have been crazy. Have you guys been looking at the pictures? All the tinfoil? It's crazy. And that's totally fine. That's totally fine. Okay. Let's look it up. Southern Border Holding Facility. All right. And it's like no issues with it, no problems with it. It's all fine. And it's funny how if you go on Google, they give you old pictures first. They won't give you anything recent. Yeah, big tech needs to kind of really just get broken apart. That's just the long and short. Hold on. Let's go. Wow, I can't even get to where I went. Interesting. Very interesting. Oh, did you guys hear about YouTube? They're experimenting with getting rid of the thumbs down. Well, the thumbs down will still be there, but it won't be visible. So if a video's getting ratio, you can't tell. You got to go to the comments and then see it there. But if they turn off comments and you can't see the thumbs down, then you can't see a ratio. Now, I don't know why they did that. My thought would be that they don't want the ratio to happen. Like whitehouse.gov, maybe they don't want each of their live streams to get ratio like that to where you have a tremendous amount of dislikes and a handful of likes. They don't want to see that anymore because it reflects badly upon them. It's like having a bad review on Etsy or something like that, or on one of these websites you can go get stuff done. They don't want you to see that. So they're trying to remove it. Matter of fact, here's some good pictures right here. Okay, this will do. They got a little playpen on the ground. So I guess it's fine. So rather than kids in cages, you got kids in baby cages, and that's cool. Let's put it on the screen right quick. So rather than kids in cages, we got kids in baby cages, and that's fine. That's totally acceptable. No problem. Not racist. All right. And this is clearly overcrowded. This is clearly not supposed to be here because it's like right butted up against the wall. And you have like a crib for an infant. What is the infant doing here at the border? How do you walk from Guatemala with an infant? How does that happen? Okay, see over there in the corner, it's an actual Google Gaga baby right there. How does that happen? How do you walk all that way from Central America, not even Mexico? I'm talking about like Honduras. How do you walk from there to Texas with a baby? You don't walk. You are driven up there. You ride in a train or a bus or a plane up there. Okay, so we got kids in baby cages, right? Laying on the ground with these little tinfoil burrito-looking blankets. But it's no problem. It's no problem. It's fine, right? Because, again, you can't say the word surge because if you do, you're a white supremacist. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, Puerto Rican, Kenny stripe. You must be a racist for using that term. And here is where they have the adults, this is the same kind of thing they had back when Trump was around, except for they got it looks less menacing, I suppose, but it still got the same type of frame that you had before. It's just now you had this more cellophane looking type situation. But they're not like really free to go. You can't just walk out of there, really. They're being held. This is a detention center. And these centers are much more crowded than they were under Trump. And there are more of them than they were under Trump. So if you can't call it a surge, well, what do you call it? You got to call it something. Let's look up synonyms. Surge, influx, increase. I mean, whatever you want to say, it doesn't even make a difference. It is what it is. All righty. So what else we got to you on deck? Thank you. Appreciate it. And what else we got going on? Oh, thank y'all for being here. Definitely appreciate you guys. If you like what you're hearing so far, give me a thumbs up. I'd appreciate it if you did. That'll help me out a whole lot. What else we got happening? Oh, so let's talk about this Derek Chauvin trial for the killing of George Floyd. Now, I don't know how long it's going to last because I've seen some trials where they come and go. I've seen the OJ trial where it's dragged out forever. And I got to say this trial should not be on television, quite frankly. The Derek Chauvin trial and the death of George Floyd, it shouldn't be on TV. It's like the OJ trial, and it has the same type of vibe. I was around for the OJ trial. I probably was about 10 years old, something like that. And I remember that trial. I remember how divisive it was. It was like people were rooting for OJ back then because he was black, and this is like the LA riots were still kind of fresh a little bit, and it was just it was a culturally divisive trial, and I feel like a Derek Chauvin thing is also culturally divisive. Not so much among races, but maybe politically and emotionally. People feel like the knee on the neck, which not saying it was his back. Matter of fact, if I could show that on the screen, I will. But now they're saying that new images suggest that Derek Chauvin's knee was on George Floyd's back. But to those that have already become emotionally involved with it, they don't really care what the knee was because in their mind, Derek Chauvin is guilty. There's no more to be said, and that's a wrap. That's it. That's pretty much all that matters. Okay, but if I can find it, I will put it up. But yeah, so Derek Chauvin's going to trial. I think he has 3 charges. You have second-degree murder, second-degree manslaughter, and third-degree murder. And I think he's going to beat the case. If he doesn't beat it, he won't get the ultimate of what people say he should get. Because the whole thing is they're saying that the knee on the neck caused the death. But the medical examiner did not say the knee caused the death. It did not say that. And there was one medical report that said that the knee did cause the death. But that came about because the family hired a private pathologist. But the guy was deemed to be non-credible, I suppose, and it was not admitted into court. So all you have is the one medical report from the Hennepin County, Minnesota, up there, Minneapolis medical examiner, and they say that the cause of death was a heart attack, basically cardiac arrest. It was not the knee on the neck, which probably was his back. Now, let me find that right quick. I know I can see it somewhere here. But anyway, this trial really shouldn't be on, it shouldn't really be on TV because it's going to be divisive. But either way it goes, whether it's on TV or not, the final verdict will be on TV. Even if it's not aired from the courtroom, you'll see it everywhere. And that may cause people to go out there and riot. And of course, the mainstream media, they're going to stoke it. Remember during the Black Lives Matter situation when they first came out back in 2015, 2016, right around then, maybe even 2014, when they were just acting the fool. Any little thing would pretty much set them off. And the media, they were stoking the, before any kind of riot would happen, the media were right there. I'm talking about all the media right in one spot, like in Ferguson or in Baltimore or whatever, just waiting for it to happen. I think I first realized what was going on in Ferguson. I think Ferguson came after Baltimore, if I'm not mistaken. I don't really know. But I remember seeing this shot of the media all huddled up in one area from all the stations. And then it was like a handful of guys in the background doing little stuff, little looting or whatever. But it wasn't a whole horde of people. Now people expect to be in front of the camera. They expect to get a little 15 minutes of fame because it could propel you into a whole new career. Tamika Mallory is one of these people. Tamika Mallory, she's with, she's like a Black Lives Matter type of affiliate. She's an activist, quote unquote activist. But she's also getting plenty of money behind this. See, like I was saying, or I've said many times before, Black Lives Matter and Black Lives Matter affiliated groups raised $10.6 billion in 2020 after George Floyd died. So if they raised that much upon this man's death, how much did the media earn in that same period of time? Because the media were covering all this. Without the media, they couldn't have raised that much money. So if these groups raised that much, how much did the media raise? This is why this whole woke thing has swept the nation, because it's money in being woke. It's money in being, it's money in pandering to the lowest common denominator, to pandering to violent people, to violence, because people think that it's being woke. And in order to be woke, yourself as a viewer, you got to contribute financially. Put your money where your mouth is. That's kind of what's going on. So I think it's a money grab that people are doing by putting this on TV. But anyway, I'll talk about that a little bit more a little bit later. But I don't think Derek Chauvin will get the ultimate here, because what did he actually do? All that anybody can say that he may have done is fail to render Mr. Floyd aid in the appropriate amount of time. That's all they might be able to say that he did. But I'm not sure that's true. Because if you're on drugs and you have a lethal level of fentanyl in your system, at a certain point, it doesn't matter what Derek Chauvin does or anybody else does. What happened to him might have already it might have ended up happening regardless because of the drugs. So it's like, what else can you do? The knee did not cause it, according to the medical report. Some pictures came out and said that the knee might have been on his back. So where do we go from there? What do we do from here? I don't really know. But anyway, I'm seeing all kind of testimony. I'm seeing some people that are out there kind of that I don't really believe. They're kind of fake. People are kind of like fake crying, wiping invisible tears away. It's like, man, this is not really good, man. I'm not believing these acting performances. I'm not convinced at all. Like, why lie? Why be so fake? Why be so phony? Has there been any money put into these people? I have no way of knowing that. But if there was money involved here and getting certain things out there, I wouldn't be surprised at all. Not in the least bit. Not in the least bit. All right. So, yeah, I can't show that though, because YouTube might try to flag me about the knee on the back. But you could find it on Twitter and just, and just see how you look at it. Right? That's pretty much what it is.
This video is brought.
All right. The knee? Well, nah, the knee is not being ignored, Hitman J. The medical examiner said that the knee did not cause a death. So, I mean, where do you go from there? If you think the knee caused a death and then the medical examiner says it did not cause a death, who's right and who's wrong? Just you as a casual observer or the medical examiner? I mean, if he died from a heart attack and not asphyxiation, What's the knee got to do with it? And on top of that, beyond that, the knee was trained by the department out there in Minneapolis. It was a trained maneuver by the police department out there. They were trained to do that. So you were told to do the knee on the neck, and the knee didn't cause the death. So with those two things, what do you have? The most you could have potentially is some kind of negligence, but I'm not sure how you really be able to get that. You're talking about murder and manslaughter. The charges that you're charging are too high for what actually happened according to the evidence. If he was, speaking about George Floyd, if George Floyd was killed by Derek Chauvin legitimately, then I'd be in your corner. I'd be like, well, you need to go. Just like Walter Scott was killed by the officer out there in South Carolina and tried to cover it up. Okay, I'm with you on that, and that guy's in jail. There it is. Now, I wish Walter Scott should stay in the car and it wouldn't have happened, which is a fact. However, the officer didn't do that properly. Okay, when you were an officer, you got to be ready for people to do dumb things. You can't take their life because something that they did was dumb and then try to cover it up. But in the case of Derek Chauvin, what people say that he did as far as choking them out did not happen according to the medical examiner. So where do you go from there? How do you argue a thing that has not been proven, that you cannot prove? He was still wrong for doing what, though? If the knee did not cause the death, then what is he wrong for doing? The knee was trained. Yes, it was trained. Faux Fauci. Yes, it was. By the department out there in Minneapolis. Yes, I did it. Right when that whole thing happened, I did a video about it, and I showed people the actual place on the website. They changed that now because of what happened. They definitely changed it. But it was, you can look at it, public information, you can find it right now. The knee maneuver was trained by the department out there in Minneapolis. Yes, it was. But since this whole high profile thing happened, they had to change it. So if the knee is ruled out, what do we have? And it can't be, I feel, I think, I believe. It's got to be, I can prove. All right? It's like the whole thing with OJ. We can think that he did what he did, and that's fine, but can we prove it? If you can't prove it, then it is what it is. That's law for you. You got to be able to have the evidence to prove it. It can't just be what we think, what we believe we know. You got to be able to prove it. Yes, Christ J, it's in the police manual book. Correct. Yeah, somebody said that the knee was a blood choke. It's like, it was an MMA so-called expert. You had a guy that claimed to be an MMA expert that said that the knee was a blood choke. No. Like this right here, like the full Nelson type thing, that's a blood choke. When you got your arms and your elbows, that's a blood choke. A knee on the neck is not a blood choke. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm no MMA expert. I'm no karate expert. I don't have any white, yellow, green, blue, black belts. So if I'm wrong about that, let me know in the comments. But I thought a blood choke was like 2 points of pressure, that type of thing. Not having a knee on the neck, which was trained by the department in Minneapolis. Yeah, and you know what? One thing about it, the other autopsy that was ordered by the family, that was thrown out of court, that was not admitted into court, that autopsy and the one by Hennepin County medical examiner both said that fentanyl was in the system, a lethal amount. So what do you think actually did it? If the knee didn't do it and he had fentanyl in the system, which was a lethal amount, what do you think actually caused his death? And he already had a heart problem before. Now, thank you, Isaac, for the donation. Isaac says, Anthony, what's your gut instinct on the Matt Gaetz situation? Is sketchy, bro. Matt Gaetz, I think he's done. I think Matt Gaetz knows he's done. There was rumor that came out that he's going to go to Newsmax and quit politics. Why would you quit politics? Like, I'm not saying the rumor is true. I'm not saying anything is true. This is all speculation. If it's true that he's going to leave politics and go to Newsmax, why would you do that? Why would you go, like, if you're going to leave politics, why would you go to Newsmax? Why not go to Fox or a bigger station? I don't, it seems like he understands that his politics career, his political career is over with. They're saying that Matt Gaetz had a 17-year-old girl he had a relationship with, a physical one that is inappropriate, and she's underage for Florida. You got to be 18. I don't think that will be the actual problem. That may or may not be true. I have no idea. I don't think that's true. Just my gut instinct. I don't think that part is true about the 17-year-old. But what I do think is true is that there's something else going on that he's not talking about. The one thing that always kind of worried me about Matt Gaetz, aside from this whole thing about the girl, that's probably false. That's like a diversion in my opinion. The actual problem is his so-called son. Do you guys know that Matt Gaetz has a son, or he calls this man his son, but the man is 19 years old and he was or is the brother of his ex-girlfriend. So he was dating this girl, right? And she got a little brother. And Matt Gaetz adopted a little brother, and that's now his son. How does that work? So you dating the girl, you dating your son's sister? It just seems kind of weird. I know it's a whole story behind it and whatnot. I'm just asking, like, what's going on with that? That's going to be the real thing. And the son lives with him and everything at 19 years old, an adult. And it was weird. Like, they were asking him, hey, why'd you let your son go out there on spring break? He was like, well, he missed graduation and in prom and all this and that because of the virus, but he's 19. He already graduated. So it's things going on here that don't make any sense. And I would like for it to be answered. I don't think the thing with the girl is true. I think the thing with the boy is the actual problem. That's going to be the issue that people need to talk about. I think Gaetz is finished. And I don't dislike him. I think I like what he says on the news and stuff like that. I like him as a politician, but personally, I think he's done. He has so many weird things going on that he's not able to solve. And also, when he was on Tucker, it was like, all right, you're trying to defend yourself, but why are you trying to drag Tucker in it? He was like, yeah, I was at a dinner and you were there, Tucker, and you saw my friend, you know her, you remember her. It's like, why are you bringing him in it? And Tucker's like, hey, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't remember her. I don't know nothing. Don't bring Tucker Carlson in your drama, Matt Gaetz. If you're being attacked, if you got any kind of drama going on, you handle it. You handle it on your own. Don't bring Tucker as a human shield and take arrows for you, because now when the spotlight is on you, Matt Gaetz, keep it there. Don't try to divert it on Tucker Carlson or on Fox News or on somebody else. You take it as a man, what you should do. Also, Derek Jackson, the same thing to you. When you get an attack for cheating on your wife, don't bring your wife into it and have her on the video like a hostage. You take whatever comes your way, whether it's true, false, or whatever, you handle it. So Matt Gaetz is done. I like him as a politician, but personally, he got some problems. And you guys probably didn't even know that about his son, did you? You probably didn't know that was his ex-girlfriend's brother. So he was dating his son's sister, his adopted son's sister, before that was his son. Is that normal? I don't know. I don't know nothing. I'm just asking questions. All right. So yeah, we'll see what's going on. We'll see what's happening with that. But yeah, thank you for the donation. Whoever, I can't see you again, but thank you for that. That was a good question. Yeah, but as far as the whole thing with the girl, I don't think that probably won't be anything. And also about Matt Gaetz, right quick for a moment. He brought out information that was not even known publicly by the FBI investigation. And then they asked someone that's involved with the investigation, hey, is a person that Matt Gaetz named a part of the investigation? And they were like, nope, that's not even what we're talking about. So his dad was wearing a wire and all types of weird stuff. I need him to just come out and tell everything about everything and clear up everything. Or how about this? If I was Matt Gaetz, what would I do right now? I would shut up. I keep my lips zipped. I would say, hey, talk to my lawyer about that. I don't know nothing, because he's not helping his case. He's digging a deeper hole for himself. But anyway, thank y'all again for being here. Definitely appreciate you guys. What else we got going on? Let me see. Oh, so yeah, CNN referring to the carjacking death of an Asian man as an accident. That was crazy. You know, I did my video about that. I was on RT talking about that. The whole thing was crazy. You had two little girls, not little, but too young to be doing this. A 13-year-old and a 15-year-old in D.C. carjacking an Uber Eats driver, may he rest in peace. They carjacked him with a taser. They get into the car, speed down the road. He's still trying to fight for his possessions because it's his car. It's how he makes money, feeds himself and his family. He's like hanging on the side of the car, trying to get the car back. They crash it. It lands on his side. He dies right there on the sidewalk, or he's deathly injured on the sidewalk. And then the one girl's like, hey, my phone's still in the car. The man's lifeless body is right there. You say, hey, where's my phone? It's like, okay, we're talking about this whole the Asian hate crime, stop the hate against Asians. But the hashtag, the little movement will die out very soon. It'll die out very soon because at a certain point, if you keep trying to highlight crimes against Asians, you're going to see a very disturbing trend. It won't be what the media thinks. The media may think it's some kind of white supremacist conspiracy against Asians. Nope. You saw that one thing in Atlanta with that guy that shot up all them tattoo parlors. That wasn't even a racial thing. That was just him dealing with some, sex addiction and some weird stuff. He was just crazy as, crazy can get. And he'll be done. He's pretty much toast. He'll get the rope, the chair, whatever. He's done. And rightfully so. But it wasn't a racial thing necessarily against Asians from what I'm able to see. It could be, but I doubt it. But since that narrative has been crafted, now we got to find anti-Asian hate crimes. And if the media doesn't find it, social media will. And every single time I see some kind of Asian hate crime, black suspect, unfortunately. I don't take pride in saying that. I'm just saying what it is. And since that's the case, you won't see this too much more in the media because ain't nobody white to blame. What you gonna, how can you, the Asian man from Pakistan, which is Asia, obviously, because it's right next to India, that's Asia. The Pakistani man, he got killed by a 13-year-old and the 15-year-old girls. Then you had the Asian woman that got stomped, didn't die, thank God. She got stomped in New York City by this man, 38 years old, who was on parole for killing his own mother in 2002. His sentence was 15 years with the L, so 15 years of life. So he had to have at least done 15 in the penitentiary, and after that, you have to apply for parole over and over. You could be denied for your whole life, or you could be granted. But unfortunately for society, it was granted. I think at the 17.5-year mark he did in the penitentiary for killing his mother. And he got out, I think he got out like in 2019. Yeah, so he'd been home for about a year and a half, 2 years. So then he goes out here and stops this Asian lady out. And he was homeless, living in a hotel. So when people talk about, oh, well, these unhoused people, they need resources. Okay, you did 17 years in the joint for murder, killing your own mom, stabbing her to death, right? You did 17 years for that. You come home, you get a nice hotel, warm towel, fresh shower, everything, right, in New York City. And you go out and do that. So since he was on parole, lifetime parole, he'll go back and do life in the penitentiary. And if he doesn't, then you already know what time it is. The books are cooked. A lot of guys are getting slaps on the wrist for going out here and killing people, assaulting people, and things of that nature. Okay, if you kill your own mother, and he had robbed her before, I think at gunpoint or knife point, like 2 years before that, then he came back and killed her at age 19. If you do something like that, you probably should get, I don't know, life, no parole, but he had 15 with the L, got out at 17, and he went and did that. And then people know that one because of the situation that she was Asian, right? They know about the fact that he killed his mother and was on parole for that. But what you don't know is that another black male, 32 years old, killed his mom on a Zoom call. She was a professor. I forget where she was a professor at, somewhere in California. She was on a Zoom call, and he went to her house, the son, killed his own uncle, her brother, went inside, killed her while she was on the Zoom call. And her colleagues watched it, so they had to call the police and then come there and find the son. Did you hear about that? No, you didn't. You're hearing about it for the first time right now. Right now, you're hearing about it for the first time right now. The only reason why the other story got covered is because there was an Asian person involved. Now, you're going to see a pattern like this start to develop, and you won't hear any more about the whole Asian thing because there's no white man to blame. If you do keep seeing these stories, you're going to see A lot of guys get enhancements on their sentences if it's an Asian involved. And I figured that what happened, like, okay, they're going to keep highlighting these Asian hate crimes. Then if you so much as, take an extra, I don't want to say that. I don't want to be rude. If you do any kind of assault or anything on an Asian person, you're going to get that extra amount of time on your sentence just because they're Asian. So that's what it'd be the equivalent of like some kind of religious attack, like a Muslim or something like that. So you don't want that. You just don't want it. All right. So, yeah, I didn't mean to get dark right there, but that's what's happening right now. So the media are really funny. That's why I don't really like, I can't say I hate the media, but I'm right there. I'm right at the level of, disliking hate. I'm like that far away from the hate of the media because they do stuff like this. They put out false narratives. They don't give you the full scope of what's happening. It's up to people like me and others to go out there and give you the reality of what's going on. All right. So again, thank y'all for joining. If you enjoyed what you're hearing so far, if you like what you're hearing, go ahead and get the video a thumbs up. And also, if you're not subscribed, go ahead and do that as well. All right. Yeah, okay. Somebody said, I'm reading some of the comments right here. Okay, hold on. Is this true, EM? EM says, UK teacher charged with blasphemy for showing a cartoon of Muhammad. Is that a charge in the UK? Can you get charged with that? Like, is there a court you go to where you say, okay, this charge is blasphemy. It carries a sentence of X, Y, and Z time in the penitentiary. Like, is that a real thing? Is UK still under the church like that to where the laws are dictated by the church? Is that what's going on? But I digress. I won't go down that road. I'm just asking questions. Just asking questions. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. All right. Yeah, you're right about that. Brittany says the media wants us fearful and confused. 1,000% correct. 100%. All right. I got super chats on deck. I'm going to read those right quick. And then I'm going to go ahead and get into the calls. So y'all just hang tight with that. Let me go find them in a new place because they keep moving the super chats as usual. Let's go ahead and go on over here. But yeah, it's been a whole lot going on. Oh, also, go ahead and visit ablmerch.com. ABL, L as in Larry, L as in Logan, ablmerch.com. I got kind of a weird way I talk. And I say ABL, they're like, are you saying ABO? It's like ABL, L, ablmerch.com. Check out the Ask About the Pandemic hats, the shirts, the stickers, the mugs, whatever you want. And I'm going to have much more on ablmerch.com than just clothing. A whole lot more. So y'all just stay tuned. Y'all will just stay on tune. And I'm going to show you guys what's happening. All right, let's go super chats. And okay, let's go right here. Thank you to the anti-view says, as a medical professional, will it be a hate crime if I use the wrong skin color Band-Aid on your same red color blood? No, I didn't even realize they have the new different color Band-Aids. I didn't even know as a kid that it was like supposed to blend in. I had no idea. I mean, it's just like, who even cares about that kind of stuff? Like, who was a person that said, you know what, Band-Aids are racist. Let's make Band-Aids that match your skin tone. Because I didn't had surgery before. Like, I had to get big cuts and stuff. You get that gauze. I don't care what color the gauze is. Just take me up, please. Take me up, fix it, do whatever you got to do. Okay, let me see. The anti-view also says, CDC says 78% of those vented, hospitalized, or dead were obese or overweight, of course. Next time you get a donut for your shot, remember that. Chicken's World says, won't need a passport in 5 years. The longer term side effects kick in. Everyone walking around with one arm or something. There you go. Exactly. John says, Jeffrey Epstein's lawyers hired the same medical examiner as Floyd's estranged family did. Yes. Justin says, have you seen Amazon One using your hand to pay? Love your channel. I have not seen that. So how do you do that? Using your hand? Are they scanning your fingerprints? What's going on with that? As long as they don't put that mark of the beast in there, then we good money, but that's a different story. Leo says, what if wallet is stolen or lost? I'm not sure what you're referring to, but thank you for your donation. Shout out to Mark A for the thumbs up emoji. Shout out to Zenith Works who says, do you own guns or did you lose them in a boating trip? Hey, you know what? It was a tragic boating trip and everything went overboard. The whole thing capsized, sunk to the bottom, so they're all gone. You know, I lost them all in a tragic boating accident. So thank you for your super chat. Shout out to Apple who says, ABL awesome commentary on RT about Uber DC tragedy. Thank you. I appreciate it. Shout out to Leo who says, did you know it's Transgender Day of Visibility? WNBA celebrating it. Oh my goodness. Hey, thank you for that. That was a good one. But you know what? If they are celebrating it for real, I wouldn't be surprised. Because you got quite a few questionables over there that are kind of like, okay, what's going on here? But I'll move right along. Justin says, Miami Heat have designated arena area as well. Apple says, have you ever thought of being a lawyer? You are brilliant. Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate you, but lawyering, not for me. Matthew says, what about passports, look at border? Exactly. Thank you. It's like, okay, you got to have a vaccine passport to go from A to B in our own country, but if you come across the border illegally, you don't need any kind of passport. How about let's start with a regular passport to gain entry into the country, and then we could talk vaccine passports. You can't have the vaccine passport without requiring some type of actual passport. When I'm in the airport, when I'm in Hartsfield, Jackson, LAX, or whatever, they're like, okay, you want to leave the country? Where's your passport? What's going on? But different story. I'll move on. And it's funny how you can get on an airplane with no passport from Mexico or Guatemala or whatever. But anyway, like not from there as in the departing. I'm talking about you can walk, quote unquote, to the border, no passport, get on the plane, still no passport, and go wherever you want in the country for free. But anyway, Laura Catherine says, I'm so sick of bad people and leadership and media trying to destroy our country. And I'm so sick of their explanation of exploiting the virus. Enough is enough. I agree with you 100%. You're So Cool 23 says, we cannot just complain about the passport. We have to push back. If we let this fly, no point of return. I'm with you. Laura says, you give the government an inch of control and take a mile, which why we never should have even complied with the 2 weeks to slow the spread. I'm with you. Thank you to David who says people are always touching their mask or wearing the same mask they wore yesterday. Masks are the new plastic bottles all over the sidewalks and streets. Oh yeah, they're everywhere. It's a complete disaster. They're all over the ground. Charles Ryan says, I can't believe so many citizens of the United States of America are eager to follow blindly and willingly hand over their rights and freedom. I'm with you. Ruben Wire says, have you heard of Amazon One chip implant in hand? So it's actually a chip implant? No thanks, I'm good. Sushi says, if Joe Biden comes to your gun, just put it at the top of the stairs. No, he kind of like almost had like another little mishap today. It's like a little baby slip. It wasn't a full fall down. I can't get up. Emergency alert type situation, but it was close to that for sure. And it was raining. I was like, okay, you got quite a few factors here. First of all, he has some kind of like overnight bag in one hand, and the other hand has an umbrella. I'm like, okay, you're not really centering yourself right there on the rail. And it's raining. You got an umbrella and the bag. I'm like, uh-oh, about to bite the dust and fall backwards. But he made it. He had a slight little slip, but nothing really major. Shout out to R. P-Talk. I know I tore it up and I'm sorry. Who says, can't wait to rock my I Survived the Pandemic hat. Hey, man, I'm loving them. Hopefully you get yours pretty soon. Shout out to Byron8899 who says, honestly, it wouldn't matter if radical left are hypocrites or not. They'll keep pushing the woke agenda until the big money isn't there anymore, in my opinion. Yeah. Dorian Gray says, Crowder and crew did a knee on the neck demonstration today. Said it was uncomfortable, but they were able to breathe fine. Wow, they really going there. Shout out to them. Let me see. Raymond says, all deaths are cardiac arrest. Hey, yeah, maybe so. But there's a cause of death, and then there's the how it's you have cause of death, and then what happens when you die. Different story. But that's a good point. Isaac says, Anthony, what's your gut instinct? Already read that one. Robert says, when dudes stop moving, maybe see why he stopped moving. Just my opinion. I mean, I understand. That's why I said all you really can say about Derek Chauvin is maybe negligence, but is that murder? I don't think so. Raymond says, all murders are a form of cardiac arrest, and sometimes stopping your heart comes from a knee on your neck. Maybe, but that's not the cause of death. You see, if your heart starts moving, then there could be a thing that causes your heart to start moving. to stop moving? Was it that you got shot? Was it that you got choked? Asphyxiation? There's a cause of your heart stopping. So I don't really know what that is. But the point is that the knee on the neck was not the cause of death. If it was, then they would say that it was, but it wasn't. If you get blunt force trauma and die, your heart will start beating, but they're going to say blunt force trauma as the cause of death, right? But maybe I'm wrong. But thank you for your super chat. Definitely appreciate it. Shout out to Miles Davis, who says, so Obama bin Laden. Love Live Surf says, stop Asian hate is popping right now. Lots of cunning folks in AAPI. That's the Asian American Pacific Islander, if I'm not mistaken. Gonna finesse at a much faster rate. CCP propaganda, though, for surely. I'm with you. Shout out to Doug versus Ripley. I'm tripping. Doug says, did you see Godzilla versus King Kong today? It was awesome. I've not seen that. I did not know it was coming out until today. So I'm going to get some time and just go ahead and watch it whenever I can. But I heard it was pretty good. Captain Deplorable says, Texas and Florida are leading the way. Mega Cat Gang, keep the faith, Patriots. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. All righty. We got calls on deck. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. Let's go ahead and get rocking and rolling. Hopefully my Skype wants to act right. If it doesn't, hey, blame the white man. It's not my fault. All right. And let's go ahead and get everything set up properly. And we'll be ready to go. And all righty, Matt, what's going on?
Yo, ABL, what's happening?
Everything's all right, man. What's happening?
Hey, to the people that want to say that murder is a type of cardiac arrest, it's probably worth pointing out that an overdose is also a type of homicide, because the people that sell the drugs to people at OD are charged with homicide.
Yeah, that's a reality.
Did you hear that Biden's dogs actually bit a Jewish guy? Like, so the German Shepherds bit a Jewish guy?
Now, I didn't hear all that. I knew that it bit somebody. And also that the dog had doo-doo on the ground in the White House. Like,
oh, jeez.
In the White House hallway. I heard that today as well.
Man, my grandparents had a big dog. And I remember that when they got super old and febile, we had to tell them to kind of turn it in and get a smaller dog that they could handle. I think it's a little bit too old for this dog.
Right.
I did. This is something that I did not Photoshop, mind you. I mean, this is a real picture. I got to the bottom of that whole surge thing. Apparently, she used to serve it back in the day.
Hilarious.
When she was a bartender. So there's a conflict of interest. She doesn't want the whole surge of immigrants being linked to her in her whole surge deal that she's got going on. And I did find a picture of the girl. She's 18 now, but the girl that Congressman Getz was with. You can clearly see that he was traveling with an underage girl. Yeah, I would definitely lock him up for that, like, for sure.
Yeah, go ahead, lock him up. Put him on, big rocks, little rocks, penitentiary.
Yep. And by the way, on that whole thing, both situations could be true. Gates could be a creep, and the DOJ could be trying to extort him. So both of those situations could be true.
I think so. I think that Gates knew something was going on with him. But at the same time, it's like he was too eager to just reveal stuff that might not have been what they were actually talking about. So I think you're right about that. It could be two things happening at once.
I think both the situations are true, because my creep radar is going off on them.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and then, not to disagree with you on stuff, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine about this little Nas. You've seen the video, the whole video, right?
Yeah.
I think it's awesome. I'm not gay or nothing, but I think it's cool. I think he's trolling everybody, and I think it's funny.
Now, but see, the thing about it is, you can't be that popular in music without there being some kind of purpose. Like, there's got to be a lot of money put behind you. It's not by accident. You can't just be a troll and have that level of success and fame and influence. It just ain't like that. So, although to people that can see through all that stuff, it may be entertaining. What about all these kids that look up to him and can't have that discernment? And you got parents that think that he's cool. You got Old Town Road with the cowboys and the toys and whatnot. He's going to schools and performing it in front of little kids.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, here comes this stuff here. It's like, okay, now you got little kids. How do you explain that to a child that's like 3-4 years old? What do you say?
Well, I mean, I told my kids about lean up in their bladder, but I ain't gonna show him humping the devil. I mean, but
That's what I'm saying. You see, that's what I'm saying. That's all.
yeah, I'm not gonna show him that. But I mean, there's stuff that every actor has done that you can some of it you can show your kids and some of it you can't. You gotta. I like Clint Eastwood, and I'm waiting for my kids to be old enough to show them Gran Torino. That's one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, but it's like, okay, if I'm watching Barney or something, right, and it's kid friendly, and all of a sudden Barney starts stripping and he's doing lap dances on the devil. It's like, wait a minute, hold on, this ain't what I turn to Barney for. You see what I'm saying?
Tickle Me Elmo is a freak, man. That guy. and then this will say something about society and the state of femininity in a way, because I understand the gayness of Lil Nas, but I'll tell you something that disgusted the heck out of me is this Cardi B and that WAP stuff. I I find it funny that I think that Lil Nas is okay, but Cardi B is disgusting.
I'm the opposite. I think they're both gross in their own way, but I think I think Lil Nas is worse because Cardi B was never like for kids. Cardi B was always like this ratchet stripper type person. Never like, okay,
Yeah,
I want to be Mr. Rogers or something like that. But that was Lil Nas. So what she did is like on brand. I don't expect Pamela Anderson to come out and be doing, you know what I'm saying, like stuff for kids necessarily. I expect Baywatch. I expect that type of thing to be going on. So it's all about brand for me.
You can show your kids Baywatch, but the Tommy Lee video,
Well, hey, you know what? Okay.
Yeah, that's all I got for you, man. I appreciate you.
Well, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Yeah, take it easy.
Yeah. So basically, Lil Nas X, man, hey, if you coming off like you're Barney, you coming off like you're one of these kid-friendly shows, all of a sudden, I'm seeing something way different. It's like, hold on, I didn't sign up for this. I thought my kids were safe and everything was all right, but obviously not. How you go from, the kid's favorite cowboy to a whole different, like you almost like trans rap at this point. You go from kids bop to underground X-rated trans rap in the blink of an eye. How'd that happen? But anyway. 915, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hello, my name's Austin.
All righty, what's happening?
Hello?
Yes.
Not much, man. I'm really excited to talk to you, by the way. I would just like to introduce myself briefly.
Go for it.
I'm a Hispanic American, and I voted for Joe Biden. But the thing is that I'm starting to look at what's happening. It does seem like Latin America kind of views Joe Biden as softer. For instance, the T-shirts that they wore to get across the border. I think Trump would have handled that a lot more professionally. Like, it feels like our borders are more respected with Trump, even though it's the same border, if that makes sense.
Yeah, of course, because Trump did not have the policy that Biden has. Biden went on TV and said, "Surge the border," and then he said, "We're not going to do any deportation for the first 100 days, and we're not going to turn anybody away." So people that are trying to cross the border illegally, when they hear that, it's like, okay, cool, let's come on right now. You said no deportations. We're coming to the country. You're not gonna end catch and release. So we're straight. Let's go right now.
All right. Yeah, I agree with you on that. The thing is that I would also like to talk to you about the border crisis. I'd like to ask you, like, what do you think about actually fixing the problem? Because I feel like the border wall was a waste of money. Because while that wall stands nice and tall, like, illegal immigrants are sleeping in $90 million hotels. Like, I think, like, the first step would actually be to have stricter border policies, even worse than Trump, so we can force them to stay in their countries and actually fix them. I mean, I know it sounds harsh, but they have to be fixed. The solution can't continue to remain to escape their countries. You know, that it upsets me to watch, the cages and all that kind of stuff on there. I feel like also, in a way, like, we could help them because it would benefit us in a lot of ways. Like, for instance, there'd be less drugs in all communities, not just black, because most of our drugs come from Latin America. And the second thing I could list is, like, we could potentially become a superpower. Like, we could have continental wealth. And there would, of course, be no more border crisis and illegal immigration.
Well, hold on, wait. I kind of missed it.
Yeah.
Are you saying, like, have Mexico join the U.S. as one country?
No, not at all. I'm saying help them fix themselves, because I'm going to be honest. I don't think they could fix themselves by themselves, if that makes sense. They actually need our help.
Well, I mean, what can we do to help them? I don't really understand.
What can we do to help them? The first step would be to actually go back to Donald Trump style, like of a border wall.
Yeah, okay.
And make them stay in their countries so they could fix them. That would be the first step. The thing is that right now Mexicans view the wall, like, we view it as racist because of the things Donald Trump said. There's a lot of, like, racial tension about walls right now. The thing a lot of people don't understand is that, like, that's the first actual step, is to actually go Donald Trump style and force them to stay in their country so they could fix it themselves. That would be the first step. The second step we could do is maybe help with their education system, because that's one of their that's one thing that they lack too.
Well, okay, I got to pause right there, because the thing about it is, we got to worry about ourselves first. I mean, I've done a story about Baltimore where you got this student who is ranked basically middle of the pack in his class, and he has a 0.13 GPA. So if we have that happening in Baltimore, which is, by the way, one of the top 5 most funded schools in the whole country, not just in Maryland, but in the whole country, top 5 most funded, that particular school system in Baltimore. I mean, what can we do if we can't even fix ourselves? How are we going to fix somebody else? I think what has to happen is what you said at first about just having a border and having Trump's policies. That's a good way right there, because what's happening, Mexico is being hurt by outside people that don't live there, that are coming through their country to come into the United States. They said in one year, some years back, they caught 400,000 people at the border, 400,000 people at the border from all over the world.
Right. Go ahead. Sorry.
So they caught, hold on, let me finish right quick. They caught like 500,000 people at the border from all over the world, China, Russia, Europe, even the Canadian at the border, like all over the place. So if we're harder on the border, enforce our laws, and also some of these visa programs that are kind of getting abused, if we can do that, we can help ourselves first, and people that are in their countries can do whatever they do, but we can't really do that much beyond what we're doing, in my opinion.
Yeah. I said, you asked, like, you said something earlier. You said we have to help ourselves first. I agree with you on that. And the thing is that by helping Latin America, we're actually helping ourselves in a way. Because
but wait a minute. Okay, I got hold on before you go into that. How can helping Latin America help these kids in Baltimore that can't read? How can that help?
Well, first of all, aren't drugs a major issue? Like, isn't there a problem? And not just in black communities, right? There's also drug problems in Hispanic communities. And where do you think those drugs come from? They're coming from the border. If we could somehow manage to kill off the drug cartels, we could kill off one of Latin America's oppressors, help Latin America, and also help ourselves at the same time, because we stop the drugs from coming in. I'm not sure it makes sense.
Okay, now I'm not sure that drugs are the problem. Drugs are an issue across the United States, but that's not the issue with schooling. But let's just say you can try and kill off the cartels. How are we going to go about doing that? These cartels are very powerful, got a lot of money behind them, and in some cases, they're armed better than the police in the areas in which they operate. So, how is it possible to end those cartels?
I live near the border, and I'm a little bit experienced with those kind of people. And the thing is that one way we could kill them off is by actually legalizing all drugs, but that's a whole other debate, and I don't think that would ever happen.
Nah, that'll make it worse. And the thing about the cartels is that you know how they operate. It's not just drugs that they sell; they human beings. They'll steal raw petroleum and sell it to people on the black market. They do all kind of stuff. So
yeah,
and then on top of that, even if you did have legal drugs, you would still have illegal drugs, because a lot of drugs they sell are illegal drugs. They sell legal drugs across the United States. A lot of these prescription drugs are sold illegally by the cartels, and these are legal drugs. You see.
My second point that I want to make across is that the corruption from Mexico, like the way the continent operates, is kind of like a car, because the corruption from Mexico is starting to make its way into the United States. I'll give you one example. Like the drug cartels are now hiring border patrol agents to help them smuggle drugs across the border. Mm-hmm. And that's just one example that I can give. There's actually more cases of corruption that are starting to leak in from Mexico. And essentially, if you keep ignoring Mexico, it's going to make its way further across. Who knows what else? Who knows what other kinds of prizes they have?
Yeah, man, that's a good point. But it's been a good call. But I got a few more on the line. So thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
No, thank you for talking with me. Peace.
And he has some points. The last point about the cartels are hiring border patrol. I mean, imagine that if they're seeping into our country and doing that, it's like what else are they doing? But legalizing drugs, that's gonna make it worse, actually. As far as society would go down. And then how are you going to help anybody if you got your society just wonked out on drugs? And then beyond that, that won't stop the illegal drug sale, because the drugs that they sell the most are legal drugs, regulated drugs, of course. But are we going to have no regulation on drugs that are being sold into the country? I mean, in the country? Can you just go buy heroin on a street corner legally? Would that be what we do? But anyway, let's get to some more. 858, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Oh, hey, ABL. This is Charles in San Diego, sir. Good evening.
Good evening. What's happening?
Man, a whole lot's happening, man. You know that. Everything can't look somewhere without somebody trying to pull something on somebody.
Right.
You talked a little bit about the Asian hate crimes, and we talked about how majority of them, how they're trying to point it out as a white supremacist ordeal and push the white supremacist thing onto that. And I think it was, I heard this on that Crowder show, that it's an old stat, but from back in 2008, he quoted a stat in San Francisco where 85% of the hate crimes committed against Asians were by, POC or indigenous people, or whatever you want to call it, but, and nobody talks about, just like you were saying, nobody talks about how any of these crimes that took place that didn't have some way they could twist it into something for their agenda, with the whole white supremacist thing. And you talked about the Zoom call that, like, What state was that in, by the way?
California.
Oh, it was here in Cali. Oh,
I think they said Altadena.
Oh man, I got to look that up. I have not heard anything about that story. You are right. You were the first to drop that. I can't wait to read up on it. I mean, it's unfortunate, but I want to see all the hiding of the facts that get done. The what do they call it? Like the lying by omission. Isn't that what it's called?
Yeah.
Lying by omission. They don't want to tell all the truth, just some of the truth.
Yep.
I haven't seen anything about that yet. Biden trying to go up the stairs again. Why does he keep saluting at the top?
I don't know. I mean, they should have put him in the little stair climber, the little chair. Just do that and get it over with.
I saw that. That was hilarious. That was a very funny picture. Hey, there was something that you we're going to jump on to Cuomo here. We haven't talked about Cuomo in a while. But one of your videos you did back when these scandals started coming out on him was you made mention. You said how he tried to blame it on his nationality and how he was brought up as an Italian American, blah blah blah. And then you said, oh, I don't know if that's how the Italians do, how all of them do. I'm here to say for some of the other Italian population in America, no, not with the people that you work with or that you have to deal with on a professional basis. No touching at all. No asking inappropriate questions. None of that stuff happens amongst normal professional Italians. Just want to make that clear.
I
remember
that
comment?
I figured that wasn't really the case. I figured you guys would be pretty professional. You wouldn't just do family things out there with random people at your workplace, and you're not trying to have HR down your back. So I figured that was the case.
Exactly. And I know you were joking. It was just kind of funny. Because I was sitting there watching it going, no, that's not how we do. That's not how we do. Let's see here. What was the other thing? Oh, the Gates thing. He kind of reminds me of one of those old, maybe 20 years ago, the TV evangelist. He kind of looks like one of those creepy TV evangelists.
Yeah, he does kind of have the little vibe to him. Yeah.
He has a little bit of that vibe to him with the hair and he dresses nice and all that, but he just has that creepy evangelist look to him that's, like the ones that keep getting busted for affairs and that kind of thing back in the day. But in his defense, I was thinking about the brother-sister thing and now his son. What if, this is just a what if, not protecting the guy, but what if she asked him, hey, adopt my little brother or else he's going to go into the system or something like that. Maybe he was trying to keep him out of the system if he was below 18, had to get a guardian, that kind of thing.
Well, I mean, she could do it.
Well, maybe she had some things that kept her from doing that. Maybe she didn't qualify, as they would say.
Hey, I don't know what's going on with that,
Who
but
knows,
I think
right?
Yeah, but it's like, okay, I don't. It's just kind of weird. It's just kind of weird.
It's definitely weird. It's definitely weird. That last gentleman I was calling and making the play for us sending Mexico a bunch of money to fix their problems, or Guatemala, wherever he wants us to send, because it's going to cost money to help fix their countries.
Nah, ain't no fixing really. I mean, at the end of the day,
that's what I'm saying.
They got to just take care of themselves, and we just worry about ourselves. But I got a few more calls on the line. I'm going to get you. Thank you for your call,
man. All right, sir.
Definitely appreciate
you.
All
right, sir. Take care. Bye-bye.
All righty. Let's get to some more here. Let's go 704 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
ABL. What's good, bro?
Everything's all right, man. What's happening?
So I want to have a conversation with you about something, because there's this dude at work that I always argue with. He's on the right, I'm on the left, and he always says something that I never understood where it came from. What is this notion that illegal immigrants don't pay taxes? Where does that come from?
Because they don't. I mean, how you gonna pay taxes with no social security number? Like if you paying federal income
they
tax,
do, though.
huh?
They do though. They
pay. Wait, hold on. They pay federal income tax.
Say that again.
They pay federal income tax.
Yeah.
So how are you here illegally with no documentation, no green card, no visa, no nothing, and fill out a tax form? How does that happen?
There's something called the ITIN, which is the Individual Taxpayer Identification Number, which I think that's like sometime in the 90s. They use that instead of a Social Security number.
Now, can you get that while being here with no documentation at all, no visa, no nothing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, if that's true, then I'm wrong.
Yeah, because and I know this because I know a couple people that have their own businesses. They have like cleaning businesses and stuff, and I know that they talk about most of the time, since they make a decent amount of money, they have to pay a lot of taxes back. And the thing about that is you're paying for a service because you're getting to stay here. It's not like you're living off, because the people that they don't pay taxes. Then yeah, I agree. Those are just kind of scum.
Well, okay.
But,
here's a question though. Out of those people that are here illegally with no documentation at all, no DACA, no green card, no visa, how many of them, percentage wise, are paying taxes like that with the ITN?
No, I mean I agree. Probably the majority aren't.
So
like,
as far as the percentage, would you say like 80-90%?
Somewhere around probably like 70, maybe. I would like to say.
So when somebody says illegal aliens don't pay taxes, maybe that's not true in 100% of the time, but the majority of them are not paying taxes. Unfortunately, there's no kind of penalty. Wait, as far as any kind of penalty, where's the penalty? Like if you got an illegal alien that's not paying any taxes, getting paid under the table, where's the penalty? Like would the IRS go after them and say, okay, you got to pay taxes? But if I don't pay taxes as a citizen, I'm having IRS on my door. I might get locked up for that. But if you're here illegally, that's not going to be your reality, right?
Yeah.
All right, then. So I think that's what we're talking about. But I do see your point.
Yeah.
I do see your point. So it can be said that the majority of them don't pay rather than all. We can have that be something that we agree on.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I just wondered, just put it out there. Like, I know you have a big platform that, like, it's a possibility, like, he always tries to shut me down, like, oh, no, it's a negative. And he's one of those hard-headed people that just don't listen. So I really don't try to argue with him that much. But, yeah, I mean, and a lot of those people, and even people that are here technically legally, like, let's say the DACA people, those people, a lot of them don't qualify for, let's say, unemployment or what's it called? When you have what's that thing called? When you get money from the government, like for food and stuff.
Welfare?
Yeah, welfare. Like they don't qualify for welfare. They don't qualify for anything of that. But like the stimulus, probably the only thing that people like DACA people would qualify for. But government funded, they're kind of out of luck.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's another thing too that I mean, it's not really like a point. I just kind of there's people, like a lot of people on the DACA thing. I saw on the comments there was a lot of people that are saying, "Oh, marry a citizen," which is a good that's the way to make it. And the other one were like, "Oh, hire a lawyer. You have to pay a lot of money, pay all this," and it's not that easy though, because you know who David Dobrik is?
You said what now?
Do you know who David Dobrik is?
No.
Oh, okay. He's like a huge YouTuber, like I don't know, 50 million followers, big social media personality and stuff, super rich. And he's covered under DACA. He's a DACA citizen, and with all that money, you don't think he'd be able to become a citizen. So it's just like, it's not that easy. So I just wanted to point that out just to the people in the chat.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so that's it, bro.
Well, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right.
All right, so you guys in the chat, that was a call. A lot of you guys in the chat are talking about that one. So is he right? Can you be an illegal alien, no documentation at all, no green card, no visa, no nothing, come over here and get an ITN and pay taxes that way? But see, I even if that's true, it still doesn't disprove the greater point. You can be here illegally and do whatever you want to do. How is anybody going to notice you don't pay taxes if you're here illegally? How is anybody going to know? But me, I don't have that luxury. If I don't pay taxes, I'm going to the penitentiary. Big rocks, little rocks. That's it. You know, I've been audited before. I've gone through all of that. But if you're here illegally, that doesn't apply to you. You live like beyond the law or above the law. And that's the problem. You're here illegally. You're breaking the law by being here. Now, as far as the taxes, that can be a point that you make in the argument. Maybe you can have some success with it moderately, but it still doesn't disprove the point. Now, if you guys have anything to add to that was not said or any kind of corrections, let me know. Hold on, let me see. Is issue with a work visa? Okay, bingo. No, you can't. Jobs at work mostly pay cash. You're getting paid under the table. It's true, weird system. They're going to Wesley Snipes you. Oh, yeah, Wesley Snipes, Fat Joe, all these guys got locked up. And it wasn't even their fault. They had accountants that robbed them, and they still got locked up. But if you're here illegally, you could just not pay and do whatever you want. Send it back home and just, you know, live high on the hog, right? FDR did it during the Depression. Let me see. I live in a border town, and one of my DACA friends, whole family pays taxes. They're scamming the system. Yes, ITN qualifies them for earned income credit. Wow. So you can get the earned income tax credit and cash out as an illegal alien? That's crazy. Okay. Children are a welfare bridge. Great looking it up. All right, let me go to the next call. Good responses. 843, you on the line. Who am I speaking to?
ABL. It's Tyler. Long time, bro.
Yeah, man. What's going on?
Hey, I was gonna piggyback off that last caller because I got a little bit experience in the roofing industry and stuff like that, and I can speak in South Carolina. Like a lot of guys come out there, Honduran, Guatemalan, and a lot of Mexican crews, and you know, I ain't blowing all their cover, but you know, they go up and buy IDs, work identities, and stuff like that from Puerto Ricans and Cubans in New York City and Jersey. They go up there. It costs them about, it costs about $3,500 altogether, and then they can go get them a license. And basically, all they're doing is just building SSI points for, you know, some guy. He's happy because, you know, he's giving up his identity and getting, you know, an income check every year, but they don't get a return. They gotta eat all that. That's what's messed up about it. Yeah, I mean, they make a good wage. They don't got to worry about going, you know, INS messing with them, but they're still, it's just a messed up deal. These guys work hard. They work their butt off, and they shouldn't be treated like that. And if, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying that it is right that they're here, but that's the reality of who comes out to do those kinds of jobs, even in South Carolina. So it's, you know, people got to understand that's the reality of it. And then, yeah, they line up there at Western Union as soon as they get paid. You know, they got to send it back. They got 15, 20 people they got to take care of sometimes. So,
yeah.
But, yeah, that's about it. And then I was asking about the Matt Gaetz earlier on the Super Chat. You know, that's me, Isaac Brewer. But, yeah, I just thought dude seems a little creepy. Like, it's a little shady.
Yeah, I get them same kind of vibes from him, too. So that's why I'm saying that this whole thing with the girl, it might not necessarily be something there, but I think where there's smoke, there's fire. There could be something else going on. So I'll keep my eye on this story because I'm not really sure that I think he's squeaky clean because the creep vibes are off the charts.
Yeah, no doubt. Okay, bro. Hey, keep up the good work, man. We appreciate you.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, man. Stay up.
All right, great call. Yeah, you know, when you see construction, you see a lot of the same thing. A lot of Central Americans, whether it be, I see a lot of Guatemalans, a lot of Mexicans, some Hondurans. But around here where I live, there's a lot of Guatemalans and Mexicans, pretty much. I can identify them, really, because Guatemalans are, like, real short. I'm not being racist. I'm just saying that's what it is. They're about 5 foot tall. You can see them all the time. Mexicans a little bit taller. Not super tall, but a little bit taller. Once you get to the mestizos and stuff like that, they're much taller because you got the European and all that kind of mixed in. You can identify them pretty easy once you kind of be around them a lot and talk to them, you know. And a lot of them, they coming over here, don't speak no English. Might speak 2 words of English, and they grind. They do work hard, but you still here illegally, so I don't have a lot of sympathy, you know. Because if I do something illegal, I'm going to the penitentiary. So if you do something illegal, why should you be treated better? You see what I'm saying? If you're doing something like that, stealing identities and whatever, I mean, that's whatever you're doing, and you're risking yourself. And people kind of know that's happening, but you're not getting locked up. Now, if I go do something like that, then I go to jail. They call that identity theft. They call that fraud. They call that tax evasion and things of that nature. I know guys that got jammed up like that, but I digress. 717 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, it's Evan from California. How you doing, ABL?
All righty, man. What's going on?
I was going to see if you were tracking on the James Charles situation with him being a creep.
I've been hearing about that, but I've not really been following it.
Oh, okay. So just a little backstory. I believe he's been caught messaging underage teenagers. He messaged, I think, 12 of them. Inappropriate content, to say the least. I don't want to get in trouble on YouTube. But he's been caught repeatedly, and obviously he's one of the big, liberal people that they look up to. So it's kind of crazy that Steven Crowder gets banned off of Twitter for little tiny, I wouldn't even say infractions because they're not really infractions. Meanwhile, you have a predator on Twitter using his social media platform to prey on teenagers and children. I was just seeing if you were checking on it and see if you're going to do a story about it because I find it ridiculous and clearly shows a double standard in social media.
Yeah, it's weird. So it's like, are they giving them a pass because of the LGBT thing?
I believe so, yeah. Because have you ever searched a picture of him? I mean, you can clearly do a simple Google search and you'd be like, okay, well,
yeah,
that's why he's where he's at.
I know who he is. I've seen him on like TV, like he does the makeup and stuff. I know who he is, but I didn't know about the background and the story of what's going on. But I can't say I'm surprised. A lot of these guys that's like super out there with their sexuality, they kind of get involved with stuff like this. I'm not saying guys that are gay are always going to be creeps. I'm just saying if you're out there, it's like a big part of your whole thing about your LGBT, X, Y, and Z. If you do something creepy like that, I won't be surprised. But it's kind of like part of your whole thing too. You're just too much out there with whatever you do behind closed doors. That kind of is a red flag for me.
Yeah, it's like the drag queen story time.
Right, exactly.
I got the same vibes.
Yeah, correct.
And then I wasn't sure if you were also tracking on the David Dobrik situation with him, with the whole "it rhymes with grape" allegations. I don't want to say it again because of YouTube, but that whole thing with David Dobrik being a DACA recipient and also being involved with specifically, very disgusting things and with the cover-up. And he's also, like I said, a major YouTuber, and he actually was losing all of his sponsors. There's actually stuff being done with him, but it's crazy that nothing's been done with an actual predator that's actually done and been proven to do things.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
But all right, that's all I had. Just one more month and I finally leave California.
Well,
so
hey, it's going to be great.
Move.
It's going to be great for you, man. Thank you for your call. Definitely appreciate you.
But, yeah, have a go, ABL.
All right, shout out to the caller. And yeah, shout out to my man for leaving California. You got to get him up out of there, man. And you know what time it is. Don't California my Tennessee, don't California my Georgia, don't California my Texas. You already know what the vibes are. So we'll move right along. Let's get to the next one. 808, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to? It's gonna be great for you, man.
Yeah, Anthony. Is that you?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, Anthony. Yeah, DB. I was on your show a couple weeks ago. Anthony, I just want to bring up going back to AOC. Let me turn this down here. As far as her coming out in Twitter just yesterday about don't call it the surge. It's called white supremacy if you use the word surge. So are we going to cancel the English language now?
Right.
Is that where we're going at?
That's pretty much where we're headed. But we only cancel it in certain times because in 2019, 2018 or whatever, she was around, protesting Trump. Then the word surge perfectly fine. It wasn't a big deal. But now that the word surge is being used against them, then they want to cancel it. So it's temporary. It'll come back when they use it in the other direction.
Yeah. So just my question is like, can any word be applied to white supremacy? Can they just throw out, and the leftist media will agree with any words that they want to cancel out is white supremacy? I was, which I talked to you a couple weeks ago. I 3-time tour veteran. I was in the surge in '07 in Iraq. So we're going to cancel that also? I served with black soldiers, Vietnamese soldiers, Chinese soldiers, all Americans, or trying to get their American citizenship in the right way, serving in the military, going over to Iraq, to serve and be in harm's way. But are we going to change the history books now? So the surge in '07 is now canceled also? Because we can't use that word now.
That's what they want to do. They want to go ahead and just cancel things that have happened, cancel recent history because of so-called offensive words. I don't think they'll be able to. I think what's happening right now between people like AOC and the media and just regular everyday people is kind of a war of words, so to speak. We're not just going to let them take everything, cancel everything. Like the OK sign, for example. That was a troll thing that happened on 4chan where people said, okay.
The OK sign with the what was it, the Naval Academy that used the low circle, which, is that what you're talking about?
I'm not sure about a Naval Academy. I'm not sure about a Naval Academy, but it was a thing that happened on one of these. It might have been 4chan or Reddit, where they said white. The OK sign meant white power, because if you do the OK sign, you have the 3 fingers that stand up. That's a W, and then your thumb and your index, and then your forearm make the P. So that means white power. And the media took that and ran with it.
That's so. Anthony, that's so hilarious because that's a military thing, and it's not even the military. It's when you put it low, that's called, you looked at it.
Right.
Hanging the OK sign low. And there's been numerous photos, which you've seen, as far as all these other Democrats doing the OK sign up in the air, which you've seen it. But that's, let's ignore that fact. As far as the OK sign, they had it reversed down. That's a joke. All it is a joke.
Right.
It has nothing to do with any type of group or I don't know, KKK or anything. But yeah, I agree with you. They ran with it, and I laughed it off. I was like, what the hell's going on here? Is this country going to hell?
I think some people have one view of the country, and regular people have a different view of the country. People that are not involved with all that kind of weird stuff, they don't believe in all of that. There's a war of words between the two sides. One side that is normal and the other side that are abnormal, irregular people.
I agree with you totally, and love your show. I just want to say, and also I want to bring up, I live in Washington State, about 60 miles from Seattle. Luckily, I'm a water away from it, so I don't have all these crazies coming in my neighborhood. And I just want to say, and you'll have to fact check this, okay? But I saw an article just the other day. I think it was on Fox News or Newsmax, that just for an example, a felon that was released from Texas, evidently they gave him a pass to go anywhere he wanted to. And where do you want to go? A druggie or whatever. He's like, I want to go to Seattle. Oh, why would you want to go to Seattle? Because they love druggies in Seattle. They love them. We'll put you up. We'll give you housing. We'll give you all the needles you need, all the drugs you need. And so I think, and an article, and the basis was that people are sending other states are sending their felons, druggie addicts, some of these violent offenders to Seattle because they know Seattle will accept them. Seattle is burning to the ground, and so is Portland.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate, but thank you for your call. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, thank you. All right, you have a good one, man.
Same to you. Yeah, but that's true what he's saying about people sending their drug addicts and whatnot to places like Seattle, Washington, and Portland, Oregon. not only are they being sent there by their respective states, they're also traveling there because these dope fiends will travel. Oh yeah. If they feel like they can go to Seattle and get all kind of benefits and free needles and free food, free this, free that, they're going to travel. So when a place like Seattle has these really liberal policies trying to, end houselessness or whatever they want to call it, they want to try to help the addiction and, give them free needles and reduce the HIV. All they're going to do is increase the population of homeless. They're going to increase the homelessness. They're going to increase the drug use. They're going to increase the disease and the crime because they're attracting them to their city. That's what's happening. You can't be an enabler. When you enable people's addiction, you're going to get more of the addiction. And in a city example, you're going to have more of these people that come to your city because you're an enabler. I'm going to come over here with you because you allow me to go ahead and shoot my drugs and do whatever I want to do. 914, you're the line. Who am I speaking to? Oh, 914, I didn't answer in time, I suppose. Let's go to the next one. 219, you're the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL. This is CTC. Been a while since I chat with you, or pretty much either watching your live streams either.
Well, I'm glad you're calling in, man. What's happening?
Now, that's a trick question right there with how everything has been going on with 2020.1.
Right.
I mean, seriously. Yeah. Oh, that's a 21 would be different. Yeah, right. It's just with a decimal than a 1. But anyway, it's crazy enough about hearing it, especially like AOC saying about like this surge is being now considered, well, the new BuzzFeed of the day. I mean, buzzword of the day. Yeesh.
Right.
Yep. Oh, I heard about this one article that supposedly doctors are now turning down patients because of political disbelief or political opinions or something like that.
Really? So so somebody coming in there and say, okay, doc, I need your help right now. I got a tumor, it's X, Y, and Z. Oh, no, I can't do that because you had a Trump hat on in your Facebook picture. Is that what's happening?
Yep.
Wow.
So I've been told. Yep. Welcome to 2020. I mean, seriously, ever since with, pretty much the equivalent of Mr. Potato Head stepped into office, no more rules. I mean, it's pretty much after going nuts.
And you know what? I think people were waiting for this to happen. That's why they don't want. It's like kids when you have a substitute teacher in the class. You could just pretty much act up and do whatever you want to do. But when the real person is there, when the real teacher is there, Miss Johnson or Mrs. Smith or whatever it is, you can't act this way. You can't do whatever you want to do. So there's like a mutiny against the actual authority figure, and you want the guy to let you do whatever you want. And that's Joe Biden.
Pretty much. I mean, like, where Trump is usually using a pen to sign executive orders, Biden, stamp, and the ink pad. That's it. I mean, where Trump did about 20 executive orders out in his entire 4 years, or maybe 50. Biden, 50 in the first month.
Right. Yeah. Right away. I mean, and they were all set up. Everything was all ready, and they probably had been writing on for a long time. And I think every time that Trump would do something, they would try to come up with an executive order to counter it immediately. So then when Biden came in there, it's like, okay, everything's ready for you. Just sign documents and don't ask nothing. Biden has not read anything. He's just signing papers.
Yep, don't look at the camera. Just look at the paper. Don't make any comments. Don't look anybody in the eye. And whatever you do, do not open your mouth.
Correct.
If you do all that, you get a cookie and maybe a glass of orange juice.
Exactly.
Seriously. Big example going on with the whole border crisis. Yikes.
Yeah, now that whole thing is crazy, but that's just what they want. They want people to come in illegally to do whatever they want them to do, to vote, because they want to be able to pass amnesty too. That's the next thing. They're talking about, okay, we possibly might pass amnesty for all illegal aliens. That's going to be a big magnet for them to come because they want to get part of their amnesty, that like the Reagan amnesty back in the 80s. They want to get part of that.
Not only that, but also every time when you got like a when you got like a major crisis that's coming up, then suddenly, oh look, a new shiny object. Forget about the major crisis that's happening.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yep. Everything's gone pretty much to hell in a handbasket. Pardon my French.
Yeah, it's pretty wild out here, but I think that if we keep at it, if we keep going forward and don't give up the hope, things will turn around. But for right now, it's kind of going in the wrong direction at 100 miles an hour.
100, more like an after one of those bullet train scenes.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, truth be told, I absolutely have nothing else to talk about because since now that with how YouTube is getting all on with the whole ban hammer.
Yeah, YouTube, YouTube does stuff like that, but to be honest, YouTube is the best platform out of all of them as far as not censoring, although they do censor. Facebook is the worst. I mean, I saw that a video today.
Don't forget Twitter.
Twitter is bad, but Facebook, that's the worst. I mean, I get put in Facebook jail every couple of days for the most random stuff. I mean, I could say I like blue, I don't like green. Facebook jail could be offensive. It's like, what are we talking about? But that's kind of the environment that we have right now with everybody being so offended and triggered and butthurt at everything. Anything I think gets recorded, it's just a mess. But YouTube is cool, although they do have their own problems.
That's kind of like the equivalent of Russian roulette.
Yeah, maybe so.
Shotgun.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I got probably one more comment I would say before I log off. Well, go off. Sorry, I'm been under the weather because with how the season's been changing so much. And no, it's not the coronavirus.
Okay, I'm about to ask you. It's like, okay, no virus. All right, we good.
And besides, we're talking through the phone.
Right.
So it's kind of hard to transmit diseases. Okay, anyway, the last topic is that one positive side out of all this, you got the cannibals, a.k.a. the left, the extreme left, the Democrats, and yada yada. They pretty much got on a eating spree, eating each other up.
Well, yeah, man, that's what they do all the time. Because when you don't have anybody from the right to attack anymore, the next best thing is to attack each other. If for not being woke enough, for not being left enough, that's what they do all the time. This ain't nothing new. Because the ultimate goal is not to have anybody that has any kind of divergent points of view, no different ways of thinking. Everybody be on the same page. Everybody being like Borg, all as one. And if you're not, then you must be defeated. But thank you for your call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Oh, that's a good example. You got to watch this animated video on YouTube called The Blackwater Gospel. It's really good.
I'll check it out, man. But I got to get to my next call here. Thank you for the call.
All right.
All right,
Take care, man. Stay safe.
All right. Shout out to the caller. And thank you all for being here. Definitely appreciate you guys. If you like what you're hearing so far, give me a thumbs up on the video. Share the video. Do all that good stuff. Also, get your fresh new merch on the merch site, ablmerch.com. The link's always in the description box. I put it right here in the chat box as well. ablmerch.com. I got the I Survived the Pandemic hats. I got it in this style. Hold on, matter of fact, I'm going to show you the other style I got. Okay, so I got it in this style, which is the trucker, you see, with the vending in the back. And I also have this style. This is like the dad hat. You see how it's kind of flat like that? So if your head is right, I got a humongous head. So that's just why I wear the truckers. So this is not necessarily my potential head style, but if you like the dad hat with the adjustable strap in the back, this is right up your alley. And these have the flag on the back. But I got a lot more hats coming. I got shirts. I got mugs. You see the new Sir, Sir, Sir. And every now and again, I'm going to just change the design and update and do little things. So some of these may be up there for a little while. Maybe up there for a while or whatever. I'm going to always be changing and updating. But yeah, these are one of my favorite styles. If my head was not so humongous, I could wear it and it'd be lit. But it is what it is. So more of these coming on the store right now. You can get this, you can get that, and a bunch more. ablmerch.com. All right. Commercials over with. Let's get back to the calls. Let's go 630, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, this is Robert. This is Robert from Chicago. How you doing?
Doing all right, man. About yourself?
I'm doing real good, real good. All right, sorry, I just had to mute you because I'm calling off the computer. But brother, I just wanted to say, first of all, you give me hope, dude. Okay, you and Candace and everybody else. I'm sorry, you guys are what hope looks like. You know what I mean? We're gonna get through this whole, you know what I mean. But anyway, I just wanted to comment on the border crisis thing. The one caller, was talking about we need to fix, Mexico, Central America, Brazil, et cetera, South America. Well, I agree with that in principle. The problem is everywhere we go where we try to fix something, we kind of screw it up worse than what it was before. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not only that, but I mean, we actually kind of created the cartels when we actually trained the Mexican police. I don't know if you know, I'm sure you're aware of this, but it was like in the 80s we did this. We sent them what's called the School of Americas, and we trained these police on actual like military tactics and things like that to combat an insurgency. And they turned around and they said, hey, the cartels are paying us more money than the Mexican government. So why don't we just turn our trade to that? And so we actually kind of blew up the cartel with that kind of stuff.
Okay.
But anyway, that's all I wanted to say, brother. So.
Well, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, no problem. All right, thanks for taking the call.
All right,
all right, later, brother. Bye.
All righty, let's get to some more here. Are you on line? I'm speaking to 617.
Hey, Anthony.
What's up?
So why like the guy that called, they was explaining to you about ITIN, the ID when you don't have a social security number, you could use an ITN number.
Okay.
The guy that called earlier, I guess he said it was from, I don't know, it was from Mexico. So and then there was another caller that said that the illegal immigrant, they're scamming the system, getting the income credit. These people make no kind of research, and they just run their mouths. You cannot claim the income credit with an ITIN. It's not possible. Second of all, an ITIN is not only for illegal immigrants. A permanent resident, a U.S. citizen could use an ITIN because you don't want to use the Social Security number because a lot of people are concerned that Social Security number could be hacked when they file their taxes, when they file them, or could be stolen the identity, so they use the ITIN number. So this notion that they doing all these, where are they getting?
But the ultimate, what's the ultimate point that I made though?
The ultimate point is that and then you start talking about cash and release. Do you know
No,
what
sir,
cash and release process is?
Let's stay on it. Let's answer the question. What's the ultimate point that I made?
That you don't know what you're talking about.
That's not it. And since you're not saying the right thing, I'm gonna let you know since you just didn't hear it. The ultimate point, like the first caller that said about the ITN, the ultimate point is that the majority of illegal aliens are not paying taxes. The majority.
Yeah,
70. He said 70%. I say 80. But either way, it's the majority. Period. And that's the point. Now, if I don't pay taxes, I go to jail. If I steal an identification, I go to jail. It's called tax evasion.
Because
it's called identity theft.
That's why, because they can't find you. You think they don't want to pay taxes? Do you think that they want to pay taxes? They want to be part of the society.
Okay, so they're breaking the law already. So why would I think they're just going to be following the law when they're breaking the law? By being illegal, you are breaking the law.
Let me explain. Let me explain to you. If they decided, like for example, you were the DACA recipient, you have to file taxes. You have to prove 3 years of filing taxes. So it is for the best interest for them to pay taxes now. If there's an immigration reform law, they're already on the game.
Wait a minute. You're talking about DACA. I'm talking about people that are here illegally with no status, no DACA. Wait, sir. I'm talking about illegal with nothing. No DACA recipient.
That's
no
what
green.
I just said.
Sir, be quiet. I'm talking about illegal with nothing. No DACA recipient. No green card. No visa. No nothing. Just here illegally, coming across the border. Nothing. That's what I'm talking about. So let's not talk about DACA recipients, people like that got kind of like special little statuses. I'm talking about no legal standing at all, period.
So can I explain?
Go for it.
Before the DACA program opened, you have to be, if you were like, let's say you were 21 years old and you were working, you have a history of working, you must have filed taxes for the last 3 years. So that means for the best interest of that person to have an ITN number so they could file taxes, pay federal and state local governments.
So I mean, the whole thing, you're talking about a previous time. You're talking about DACA recipients before DACA opened, but that's nothing to do with right now because that program is not available for people that are coming right now.
Don't you think it's the best interest for those people to pay to get an ITN number to pay
what?
taxes?
For what?
So if it's a reform in immigration, they already have proof that they've been living here for 10,
So the thing
years.
is, okay, so why can't they get it?
A lot of these illegal immigrants don't know.
So whose fault is that? You said, wait, but hold on. First you said, okay, you think they don't know when they get it? And then when I said, wait, sir, listen. You said, you think they don't know when they get it? And then I asked you, well, why aren't they getting it? You said, a lot of them don't know. So if they want to get it, that means they know.
Well, they don't. A lot of illegal immigrants don't know about the ITN number. Believe me, I filed taxes.
So I mean, but what you said earlier was you think they don't want to get it. So why'd you say that if they don't want to get it?
That's not what I said. That's
so
what I never said.
What did you say? What did you say?
I said that a lot of them they don't know. Second, a lot of them fear the system because in order to file an ITN, you have to give out your passport, and then you have to provide that information. A lot of them they're concerned that they believe that the IRS working with immigration and they might show up at the door.
And
so a lot of them fear that's why they are not getting it. But the IRS don't work with immigration.
Well,
plenty of lawyers saying this.
I mean, at the end of the day,
people don't know.
They should be fearful because they're breaking the law, and anybody that's breaking the law should be scared they're going to get caught. Like just like me, if I do something like that, then if I break the law, I'm scared I'm going to get caught. So how are they any different? How are they special?
They're fearful, so that's what they're paying. That's what they're
because they're breaking the law. Who fault is that? They're breaking the law.
They should be fearful. Right? So you answer your own question.
No, I mean, but see, the thing is, you're not understanding is that it's their fault because they're breaking the law to begin with. How about not break the law and then you be all right? Do things the right way, and you want to be in a situation to begin with. If I break the law, then I'm getting sent up the river. If I try to get my social security number or do some kind of illegal stuff, some kind of weird stuff with taxes, some things that I know I might not be able to do, then I risk going to jail. That means I'm not going to do it because it's going to be a risk involved. I'm not trying to go to jail. So they're not any different because they're here illegally.
What kind of illegal stuff they're doing? Yeah, they're breaking the law illegally. It's true.
Huh?
It's true.
Excuse me?
But they are not. They are not doing whatever they want. They are not collecting government
you said
funding.
You asked me a question, sir. True. Quiet. You asked me a question. What are they doing illegally? Is that what you asked me?
Yeah, I'm not saying.
No. Just stop. They're here illegally, sir. They're here illegal. That's what they're doing illegal. Period.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
Period. That's it.
They
and no more.
Illegally,
so don't ask me. So don't ask me what are they doing illegal when they're here illegally. Don't just ignore that part. Like, oh yeah, they're just here illegally. So what?
They are not getting income credit. That's not true.
Okay, that's great.
Not true.
That's great. So they're here illegally.
That's not true.
They're here illegally. That's their fault. If they want to, be above board and do everything right and not fear going to get deported, how about don't come illegally? It's simple. If I follow the law, you follow it too. Period.
But I'm not saying that it's okay for them to come illegally. But this notion that people thinking that you promoting that they catch them and they release them and they open borders.
That's what they're doing.
That's what they're doing. You're making stuff up.
All right, now you're just going in and down. See, I was listening when you talking about the ITN and stuff like that. That's valid, but they have admitted they're doing catch and release. You see it right there at the border. They say it. I've seen the border agents. They go to the places and they say, okay, they come to the border and they get detained and then they are sent to a particular place, to a sponsor's house. It could be their uncle. It could be a family friend or whatever. They get sent there. They're given a court date, and then they got to return back to court to figure out their status. And then there were some of them that were released with no court date. Just, all right, go ahead, because you ain't going to come back no way. What's the point in giving you a court date? But thank you for the call. I appreciate you.
You're talking now. That's not
all right,
what you're
have a nice day. Yeah, the thing is, look, if you're here illegally, I can't be sympathetic to you because I can't say, hey, if you're over there committing a crime, you need to get locked up. Like I saw some people in the airport fighting today. Sir, you're in the airport fighting big rocks, little rocks, all right? Go to jail. But at the same time, you're coming across the border, paying the coyote 10 grand to come over. And I'm like, oh, it's all right. You can come over here illegally. Can I get 10 grand? How about that? But I digress. All right. Let's go to the next one. 515, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hello?
Yes.
Is this ABL?
Yes, it is.
Oh, really? I got through?
You got through, boss. What's happening?
Oh, my gosh. This is great, man. My name's Chris, man. I'm from Iowa.
All righty, man. What's going on?
Hey, I got you on the screen. I turned down my speakers. I was watching you talk to a previous caller. I'm not sure like how many seconds I am behind. I'm not.
Yeah, don't have the stream on in the background because there is a delay.
Okay, so it appeared that he was Latino.
Yeah.
Okay, and so I myself, I'm mixed. I'm from California. I live in Iowa though. I'm in my 50s. I'm older, and so I've seen a lot of things, and so I've seen undocumented individuals. You know, in California. I lived in Arizona, and now I live in Iowa. Are you with me?
I'm with you.
And I'm mixed. I'm black and I'm Mexican. And so I've worked with some of the greatest workers that are they're not documented, man. I mean, I've worked doing some labor, hard labor, but I'm currently in the IT field. I'm an analyst. I work for big financial companies. And I see these people all over, and they're fantastic individuals. They are. And let me tell you this. You guys were talking about them not paying taxes, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's what we got. So I know for a fact, like your previous caller was talking, hopefully I'm not too far ahead of that, but as far as the ITN number goes, they do pay taxes. They do record their taxes. They do go to accountants. And yes, I do understand that they are here, you know, they're undocumented, so they've broken that law, they've crossed that barrier. I understand that. But the fact is, do they record their taxes and do they pay them on their paychecks? Yes, they do. And I'm an educated man, and I work with some of these people because I see them everywhere. They're not exactly in my field, but I have relatives they're from Mexico. They're residents, and they all know what's going on. And so when I hear that the undocumented immigrants that are here, not necessarily from Mexico, but undocumented residents, when they're not paying taxes, they actually, from my experience, not from everybody else's experience, but from my experience, they are paying taxes. And do they also file for tax returns? Absolutely, they do file for tax returns.
Pause. So, with no Social Security number, ITN, they're getting a return on their taxes.
Some of them do get a return. Some of them do have to pay in.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm a citizen. I'm educated, IT analyst, big financial companies.
Okay.
Continue. If you give me your 2 cents, throw it back at me. Let's see what we got.
I mean, I don't have much to say. I mean, I don't think that wasn't even my argument about if they pay taxes or not, because, you know, if they do, they do. It is what it is. But my thing is, I don't have sympathy for people that, like, okay, here's my whole thing. The person I talked to first about this on tonight was saying that the majority of them who are here illegally, not just those that happen to work, you know, construction or whatever it is, but the majority of illegal aliens are not paying income taxes. They're just not. They're just here doing whatever they want to do. They're just here illegally. Probably like 70%. So when people say that illegal aliens don't pay taxes, that may not be true 100%, but at least 70%. Now, if I don't pay taxes, there is no, like, I don't have that option to just not pay taxes. If ABL don't pay taxes, you're going to see ABL making, be watching a Little Rock. So I'm going to be in the penitentiary. I'll be somewhere else. I won't be on YouTube no more. I'll be Wesley Snipes, Fat Joe. I'll be in jail. So that was my argument, that it's unfair to be here illegally and then want to have, what am I saying? They want to have entitlements and then act like, well, everybody's paying taxes when it's not the case. Some do, but the majority don't.
Yes, I can't speak for all, and like I said, in my experience, those that I have been around and that I've known, they do pay taxes. And what's kind of interesting is that some of them can actually start a business, with an ITN number. The government wants that tax money, and sometimes those Social Security numbers and those residencies are overlooked. But if the government gets their fair share of the dollar, they're good to go. And then if you have that ITN number and you can file for a tax return or you have to pay in, they use it for it. That's how the government works. It's a dollar. It's the American dollar. It's what the government, how they function. It's what they do. Now, on the other hand, yeah, absolutely. There's probably those that probably get paid cash dollars, like in the American cash dollar. Okay, so I'll give that to you. Okay, sure. They probably don't pay taxes. But those that I've been around and known from, I lived in California for many years. I lived in Arizona for many years. I live in Iowa for many years. And those that actually get a paycheck, however it works. And even if they own a business and they get a paycheck, that's.
But if we got 30 million illegal aliens, it's kind of hard to, it's kind of hard to say those that you've been around represent the majority.
Well, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying it's the majority.
I understand.
I'm not saying that.
I understand. But back to my point, some may, and I don't deny what you're saying. I believe what you're saying. But I think the majority are not people that you know. They're not that type. People that you're not really going to see. They're not paying. And I don't have that option at all and know it from a fashion. But they do have that option. I don't. That's the only point I want to make. But thank you for your call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Hey, man, I'll tell you one thing, too. Like, if you know Kevin's Corner and a few other cats out there, sometimes you guys have live streamings at the same time. If you guys can,
I can't do nothing about that, man. It's all. I can't do nothing about that. But thank you for your call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, man. You have a good night, man. Nice talking to you, man. All right.
I know.
Peace out.
Yeah, I can't do nothing about that, boss. Thank you for your call. All right. But yeah, I mean, they pay taxes, that's fine. But they could easily say, no, I don't want to, and then that's it. They could do something. They can work up under the table. They can do whatever. They could just not work and not pay. Well, they can get paid up under the table, and then, but if I say, you know what, I'm not trying to pay no taxes, man, please. My question would be, okay, so if you're not paying taxes as an illegal alien, what's the penalty? You getting deported? You getting locked up? What's going to happen? Are they going to come after you? Is it going to be an audit? How does that work? If the IRS is separate from ICE, does IRS alert ICE if you are delinquent? That's a question. 773, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, Bill. This is Andrew. Okay. First off, have you heard about the story that's in your state where this man's skin bursts and then swells and then peels off from a severe reaction to the Johnson & Johnson COVID vaccine?
Yeah, I saw that. That was crazy. His legs were looking really gross, but
yeah, nobody else is talking about it.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of different manufacturers of this vaccine where they're having similar side effects and even death that's absolutely nobody else is talking about, especially doctors. And in my state, fortunately, some places may make you get vaccinated. Otherwise, you're going to need that whole vaccine passport, according to my parents. And I've already made it crystal clear to them that I don't want the vaccine because I don't trust it. And I don't specifically trust my own doctor now.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I'm glad that Ron DeSantis came out and said that that won't be a thing in Florida. Hopefully he's able to stick to it, and you don't have private companies running them up with this whole vaccine passport thing. Hopefully it's not, okay, you have to get the vaccine passport to fly or to go to work or something like that. That should be illegal because it's violating your rights, your personal rights as a person. Like, I don't want to have my medical information plastered out there for these corporations to just pilfer through. I think that's inappropriate. I think it should be illegal.
And it's not pretty much just HIPAA laws they're violating. It's pretty much every other constitutional right, specifically geared towards this lockdown and making kids as young as 6 months old get vaccinated, even though they're not likely to get the virus in the first place.
Right.
There's one important video I want you to take a look at from Steven Crowder when you're talking to people like Ivan about the Floyd case. Is from a 2019 arrest of George Floyd pulling the same exact stunt that I can't breathe, even though he's high as a kite on drugs there, and it's pretty much the similar type of arrest there. And there's no knee involved there, but he's resisting arrest the entire time. You should be able to still pull it up unless they've demonetized the whole thing already.
No, the whole I can't breathe thing is a very common thing people say to try and not get arrested, but they can't breathe.
Okay.
Because
but you have seen the video I'm referring to, though.
So what now?
You have seen the video I'm referring to that Steven Crowder used. That's from a 2019 arrest.
Nah, I've not seen that. But the thing is, just in general, that I can't breathe is a very common thing people say when they get arrested, although they can't breathe.
Okay. Well, check out the video when you do have some free time because it's pretty much informative and it's been submitted into evidence in this case. And as an important note is that this whole case right now is pretty much tainted from the very beginning because BLM and a whole bunch of other activists are already intimidating the jury already with, in terms of the demographics, who's going to support them, and even threatening to dox a couple people from their jobs if they don't go a certain way.
Yeah, that's no good. Not in the least bit.
And as far as I'm concerned, and I would like your opinion on, if you really think the black community is officially dead at this point because of cases like this and them supporting criminal activities like those girls in D.C. that Mayor Bowser, aka Queen Koopa, called an accident, even though we can clearly see that it's murder right there. Same thing with other cases we've seen pop up recently.
So what was your question? I kind of missed it. It's like, are we doomed?
The question overall was, do you think the black community is officially dead at this point if all they're going to do is riot regardless of the verdict in this Floyd case, but completely ignore all these other serious cases that are happening right before them that are done at the hands of other.
I got you. I answer your question. I think what's going on is that you're going to have some people in the black community that refuse to listen to logic and some that will. And then those that will be logical are going to go over here and those that aren't are going to go over there. But also, as far as this rioting thing, you got to be honest and look at who's actually doing it. Like, we're talking about Black Lives Matter. It's like at the
Black
least.
Lives Matter, ignorant people.
No, hold on. Wait. Let me just talk. Black Lives Matter at the lowest is 80% white. What's happening is you got Black Lives Matter, which is a majority white leftist hate group, and Antifa. They come to a black place, and then you have the ignorant blacks that join in with the whites that think they're educated, but they're also ignorant. And then they go tear the black community up. So black folks that don't even really care about this whole thing get caught up in it unwillingly. And if they don't want to be involved with it, now they're forced away. So it's going to create a wedge. It's a black and white and other races coming together with BLM, victimizing the black community and making them pick sides. That's what's happening.
And plus, they're profiting off of young men's deaths.
Oh, it's money. It's definitely money involved. That's the bigger picture. That's because they raised $10.6 billion last year after George Floyd. That's the bigger picture.
I think it was 10 times that.
Well, I mean, if it's 10.6 billion, 100 billion, or whatever, you talk about billions of dollars. So it's a lot of money.
Well, the bottom line is that all they're doing is creating a cycle of hate. And like Tommy Sotomayor says, there will be some backfire by everybody else who's finally fed up with BLM and other people who walk aside them.
No doubt, man. But thank you for your call. I got a few more on the line. Appreciate you.
You too.
I know. Yeah, so that's what's happening with BLM. You got majority white, some other races, it's majority 80%. Like at the lowest percent of whites is 80%. And that's in Atlanta. 80% white, and then like right around 20% black. The groups are pretty much surprisingly white and black, and not much. There's not a lot of Hispanics out there or Asians out there. It's not a lot of that. It's mostly white liberals that feel guilty. Because here's what's happening. The white liberals feel like paternalistic and guilty. They feel like it's up to them to, quote unquote, help the black community. And then they feel guilty about a situation that they feel black folks are in. They feel like if you're black, then you just automatically going to be at the bottom of the barrel, right? You can't read, you can't write, you can't do anything. So then they go, and then they're full of rage and anger and hatred that's artificial. For real. And then you got black folks that kind of feel the same way. And you know the crazy part about BLM? The blacks and the whites that join it generally are not even from that kind of area that they're talking about. Like people that I know that are really from the quote unquote hood, including me, we look at them as kind of being corny. They're kind of like just people that want to feel like they're doing something. It's like they go out there, they protest, they feel like they're really part of it, and then they go back to the suburban communities. Now you got some folks in the hood that want to join because they're just ignorant. They don't even know what's going on. But people generally in the hood don't even really care about this. Not for real, not beyond just like an Instagram post or a Facebook post. They're not really trying to be out there tearing up their own store. Not really. The thugs will do that, of course. They do that anyway. But that's not the majority of us. Unfortunately, too many of us support that type of behavior, even if we don't do it necessarily outright by being out there engaged with it. Voting a certain way, not understanding that's kind of a deeper story, so I digress for now. All right, let's get to the next one. Number to call, 434-658-1220. And if you enjoy what you're hearing so far on the show, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Share the video, like the video, do all that good stuff. And also, if you're not subscribed to the channel for whatever the reason may be, go ahead and subscribe to the channel right now. And I thank you for that. Let's get to it. 702, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, Anthony. How you doing? This is David.
All righty, man. What's going on?
Not much, man. Always listen to your stuff. And I've actually sent you some stuff on Instagram, but I don't know if you ever get anything. Some funny stuff on political commentary. But anyways, man, I was listening to the guy that was just talking over there, talking about how, the majority of these guys, that were working with construction with them and stuff, and they do get their taxes taken out and things like that. And I will say, I'm out here in Las Vegas, and over here, the West Coast and the East Coast are very different, of course. But over here in the West Coast, you see a lot more of this. When I used to be in Miami, I didn't see as much of this as you do over here. Obviously we're closer to the border, et cetera, et cetera. But what I do notice is that a lot of times, they do take the tax money out. They don't get refunds. It just gets taken out. I don't know if they're using, maybe just random numbers and things like that. So the taxes get taken out, but they don't get a refund. Which, hey, you know what? That's the price you pay for being here, the way you are, because you're not even supposed to be here, period. You should be thankful for anything you get at that point.
Well, if
'cause
that's
you get a
going
lot-
on, if that's going on where they have taxes taken out and not getting a refund, they're probably
Yeah.
doing identity theft.
Absolutely, that's part of it. That's part of it. But here's one thing that I noticed, because I was dating one of the girls that I was dating. She was in here illegally, you know. So a lot of the jobs she would take was like house cleaning and things like that. That was just cash under the table kind of jobs. Now, granted, you know, there's people that take under the table jobs, and not just from Latin America. There's you know, all kinds of people that take those kind of jobs on the side too. I mean, it happens all the time. But here's what happens: that I saw her go and buy a car, for example. Okay, get finance for a car. She was able to register the car. She was able to get insurance on the car. All these things. And I'm like, wait a minute, how is this even possible? How are you able to do all these things? You don't even have a driver's license. Like she didn't have the driver's license or anything at that time.
Wait, hold on.
I'm like, how are you able to do all these things?
No license. She was able to get a car registered.
She was able to get a car, man, registered and financed and everything. And I'm like, how is this happening how can you have credit when you don't have, you know, like the paperwork? And she's like, oh, well, you know, that there's some places that'll do it without having to have an ID from the United States. You could do it with a Mexico ID.
Wow.
And I go, how is this even possible? How is this working? So here I'm looking at it and I'm like, you know, there's times when I've applied for things, you know, and it's like I'll get denied because my credit's, you know, not good enough or whatever. And yet this person that doesn't even have an ID is able to get, you know, approval on a lot of these things. And I'm going like, how is this happening? And so here's one side of the aisle that is like trying to fight, you know, illegal immigration. But then here's another side that is like, there's these loopholes that people are using. So it's almost like, well, we don't really want, you know, illegal immigration, but at the same time, there's all these things that are saying like, well, you know, we kind of don't want it. So it's either one or the other. But see, what's happening here is that we're somewhere in the middle over here, where you have, you know, people that are doing the right thing. They're going, hey, you know what? We don't want this. But then there's this other side that is like, even in businesses and things that are like, well, you know, we kind of don't want it. You know, you can't be half pregnant. You know, it's one or the other.
Right.
And this is where the problem is, that it's kind of like, you know, and it's always been like this, just like with the homeless situation, just like with everything, there's somebody that's benefiting from this thing happening. Just like the homeless situation, just like anything else that you see, there's a benefit to someone. Otherwise, when there's no benefit to anybody, that thing comes to an end. It comes to a stop. They'll put a stop to it. So this is something that's almost like we're going in circles because somebody somewhere wants this to happen. You know, so and that's why this will never have an actual solution, I don't think, in the long run. It just won't happen. You know, we just keep going in circles. And we keep pinning each other against like, well, some people want it, some people don't want it, some people say it's right, some people say it's wrong. Bottom line is it's wrong, period. I mean, that's the bottom line from the get-go. Just like when I see them picketing out there, like, you know, for rights and this and that, I'm like, wait a minute, you're not even supposed to be here. You're picketing for rights and this and that in a place where you're not even supposed to be. It's like I walk into your house, you're offering me food and this and that, and then I'm trying to, you know, take a dump on your carpet, and you say no, and I get upset. Well, wait, I'm not even supposed to be there.
Exactly.
So you understand. So this is what I'm seeing. That is this, you know, it's this big discussion, and this has been going on for years, man. I mean, this is something that'll probably never end. And like I said, until these people decide that we really don't want this, we really don't want it. And I think actually, if you were to not have it, if you really were to not have it fully, I do think a lot of businesses would suffer. I do think a lot of things would. It's almost like it's a necessary evil. Just like when people say, oh, we don't want the cops, defund the cops because they do this and that. Listen, it's a necessary evil. You're always going to have some good. You're always going to have some bad, but it's necessary. You know, home associations, they're necessary evil. Right. You know, because people just can't do things the way they're supposed to. We just can't. I mean, people are just like that. So it's almost a moot point to when I hear people going back and forth on this, because on one side, like I said, people want to put a stop to it. But then on the other side, there's a few that are going, well, you know, can't work. It can't work that way. What I mean, what do you think? I mean, am I making some kind of a point here?
Well, I mean, there's a lot there. Do you have a specific question you want to ask as far as that is concerned?
Well, what do you? I mean, what do you do? Do you think there is an actual solution, or this is just going in a circle? Are we just going in a circle as a society here in the United States? Are we going in a circle? Do you see an end to this or a solution to this at some point? Because, like I said, it's otherwise it's what we're doing now, which is just a discussion.
I mean, there could be a solution. There could be an end to it. I mean, I don't really know how, but it could be an end.
Because, like I said, when you have these businesses and these things, and when I asked about how can you sell somebody a car, put insurance on a car, they said, well, these are private entities. You know, like the DMV is not connected to the insurance company, and the insurance company is not connected to the car dealership. So they're all working individually, and they're all looking for their best interest.
Yeah.
So as long as that's happening, I used to think that DMV, along with the insurance company, was maybe not the car dealership, but with the insurance company, they all were kind of connected, like where you had to, you know, it's in certain set of steps. I found out it wasn't. I was shocked as you were when I was telling you right now. So I didn't know how that was working and how it was even possible. How can somebody get credit or a credit card or any of this stuff without being a citizen or a resident or anything?
Right.
And they're able to do it. And as long as you incentivize that, and as long as you are okay and allowing this to happen, just like what's happening at the border, as long as you incentivize something, people will just, you know, say, well, then I can go. I can get the benefits. And if anything goes south, let's say that, you know, I'm a drunk driver or something and I kill somebody. I don't have an ID. I don't have anything. I'll just take off to Mexico or to South America somewhere.
I'm with
and
you,
be
man.
gone.
I'm with you. But I got a lot of calls online, so thank you for your call, man. Definitely appreciate
Go
you.
for it, brother. Go for it, man.
I know. All right. Shout out to the caller. Yeah, it's a crazy kind of web, but it is what it is. But that wall, I mean, you got to have less. The ultimate thing is to have less of the foot traffic, because if you had people here, there's going to be things available for them. That's just the long and short. It really ain't nothing else to it. 860 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hello, it's Sonia. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. About yourself?
All right. You were talking about the BLM money that they raised billions, and all I keep thinking about every time I hear that figure is, how can you raise billions of dollars if everyone here is racist for a black cause?
And how can the group be 80-90% white? Speaking about Black Lives Matter, it's a majority white organization. So how is everybody white racist? I don't understand.
It makes no sense. And if you ever take a look at this mugshot that I think it was Andy No put together, the guy who wrote the book about that thing that doesn't exist, Antifa, there's a lot of diversity inclusion in those mugshots about people who have attacked Asians, but they're supposed to be white supremacists.
Yeah, I mean that whole hashtag, the whole stop Asian hate.
Asian hate.
Yeah. It's gonna go away pretty soon, because they're gonna keep seeing that it's not white people committing the crime. They're gonna keep seeing that, and it's like, oh well, we can't use this anymore. So let's move on to the next thing.
Yeah, and then with the border, like you said in your videos about the people coming across, they're all shapes and sizes. They've got, regular clothes on. They got phones. They got all, types of people coming in. I'm wondering how children are coming across so easily. I know that a 9-year-old boy couldn't possibly walk from Honduras or wherever they said he was from, but the Gateway Pundit had put something out that a 6-month-old baby was rescued, that I think the people, I guess, they paid to cross them over, just like threw over the Rio Grande. I'm not sure if that's how it was, but I'm thinking, is that a good start? Is that what they're, whatever they're fleeing, number one, how do they have the money if they're fleeing poverty to pay someone to get them across? And number two, the conditions that they have to, endure to get here are so dangerous. I don't see how people could justify, bringing kids across at all.
Yeah, there's a lot of human trafficking going on. That's a big part of it. People are selling their children or selling random kids, kidnapping kids, selling them into slavery. So that's happening. And like you said, it's like, how are they escaping poverty when you have 10 grand to pay a coyote? People here that aren't in poverty don't have 10 grand just to spare, just because you want to go from point A to point B. So, the narratives I'm being fed by the media are obviously false.
Yeah, let's not call it a surge, right? But it says here, human traffickers tossed 6-month-old baby in Rio Grande during Border Patrol pursuit, boats filled with 67 adults and 150 children.
Wow. I mean, if that's not a surge, I don't know what is. I mean, if people like AOC's getting caught up on the terminology surge. Well, you got a baby in the river. Like maybe that's a little bit more important than the word surge. Maybe.
Exactly. And then, Biden, he's going up the stairs. It's pouring rain. Have you ever seen a president a day in your life? I mean, I haven't. He was holding a huge brief bag and a big umbrella, too. Don't they have people or aides that would have that in the plane waiting for him? I mean, maybe he needed the umbrella, but are they trying to kill him?
I mean, I felt like it because it's like, and they're setting this man up because, okay, it's raining. You got this humongous bag. I don't know what's in the bag. You have
humongous.
It was crazy. And then so it's like
I've never seen them holding stuff like that. I mean, they have those things already on the plane, or they have them at the hotel waiting, or whatever.
Surely there could have been somebody that took the bag for him. He didn't have to carry it himself. And then he has an umbrella in the other hand. So it's like, okay, you can't balance yourself on the rail, and it's raining. You're gonna fall, or you might slip. And he almost slipped.
Yes, he almost did. And the weird thing about, because we're talking about the border real quick, I know someone who's actually in Mexico right now visiting family. She's a legal, resident here, but her family's still over there. And she says that the wokeism is spreading like fire over there. She was sitting in the living room, and she was watching a kids program, and there was a lady all alone with a bunch of Muppets wearing a mask. And all I thought to myself, what would a country like that benefit from the woke stuff? Because I can see it, why they're doing it here with the race and all that. But over there, I don't get it. Unless it's that they want to indoctrinate the people that they want to send here. Otherwise, I don't understand how identity politics plays a role in a place like Mexico.
I mean, I think that you got people that live in other places, other parts of the world that want to spread it to places like Mexico. They want to have this identity politics be the norm. And maybe they can do some things that would encourage somebody to cross the border illegally because it's part of, their right and this is their country. And they may have that kind of programming to brainwash them to push whatever narrative they want to push.
And then I'll leave you with this. Did you see the teacher who was having a fit about the racist Band-Aids?
I've heard about that, but I did not see it. So this was an actual problem with the Band-Aids. They were racist?
Well, I won't even say she was having a fit. She was just bringing attention to it. And if you want to check her out talking about it, I actually posted it on my Instagram page, which is Sonia's Scrapbook. And I have it there. And she's talking about it. She's a teacher. And she said that it was another example of white privilege. And all I thought was, if a kid is bleeding to death, what are you going to do about the gauze?
Exactly my point.
Makes no sense. Anyway, we got a lot to deal with, and I don't know how we're going to keep afloat, but thank goodness for Dr. Joe Biden, because when all else fails, just keep it all, in the forefront that si se padre.
Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Good night, ABL.
All righty, great call. Now, here's the video she's talking about the Band-Aids. Hold on. Let me see if I can play the audio here.
White privilege. Think about it. Whose flesh tone is this? I have brown Band-Aids in my classroom. I had to special order them. They're twice as much as these, and they're hard to find, and they're frequently out of stock. But when I hand a brown child a white Band-Aid...
It's actually not necessarily white, but go ahead.
I am literally adding insult to injury.
Wow. Insult to injury. Lady, stop smoking crack. Please stop smoking crack. That is hilarious. Hold on. Let's keep on.
And I refuse to do that in my classroom. White.
Wow. You know what? I never in my life thought that I didn't know it was supposed to be skin colored. I had no idea. I mean, it's like, okay, I didn't scratch myself. Let me put a Band-Aid on. All right, boom. All I worried about is it going to stick on? If I get in the shower, is it going to come off? Like, okay, I get it. I get a little boo-boo or something, and then I get in the shower. I got to take it off, put a new one on. Or is it big enough? Do I need stitches? Do I got to go to the doctor? What's going on? Lady, Nobody cares. Literally nobody cares.
Privilege.
Have you ever heard anybody complain about a Band-Aid being quote unquote white? That's pretty beige to me. That's beige. That's not even white. If that's Joe Biden, that's gonna stick out like a sore thumb. You understand what I'm saying? He got that look right there, that powder, that no sunlight, that no vitamin D. You understand what I'm saying? But I digress. That's not orange. That's not Trump's color, so that's gonna stick out like a sore thumb too. It's not even her color. Look at her. They don't even match. Lady, stop. Please stop. Okay, I'm gonna digress. A teacher. Yes, a teacher. Yes, she is a teacher. 951, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hello?
Yes, who am I speaking to?
This is Stacey.
You sound kind of muffled, boss. Are you gonna speak her or something?
Yeah, it's 1 second. Sorry about that.
Hello? Hello?
ABL?
Yeah.
Hey, I just wanted to call and tell you you're doing a great job, man, and I enjoy watching you, and take care.
Thank you for the call, man. I appreciate you.
You too. Take care.
Great call. All righty, let's go to the next one here. 631, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, Anthony?
Yes, it's me.
It's Ann. Listen, the thing about Matt Gaetz, I am like so offended by. I thought he was the greatest, like going to be the next president. So I would never in a million years believe that story with the child.
Yeah.
I heard you talking about it. And in either case, I don't think I would try him out here in the middle of these Democrats, if you want to call it. I'm being nice. But, you know, I think he's a great man. I don't see anything wrong with him. You see things wrong with that?
Well, as far as him in general, do I see something wrong with him?
No, with this story that just came out.
I mean, it's a lot going on. He's put a lot of stuff out there that wasn't even admitted. I don't know exactly what's happening. I feel like there's something there.
I heard him say it's an absolute lie, and he has every bit of proof.
I think he was saying things that nobody else said. It was just weird. I think there's something there, but I don't know that the story. I don't know that the story that was put out there is true about the girl. I don't think that's true, but I think there's something else that could be true that has not been said.
I don't know about this little child. I don't think he's a pedophile.
I don't know about I don't know about that part as far as what the story.
Like these people are coming out with the Catholic Church. Ooh, all the priests are pedophiles. No, they're not. First of all, that's a mental illness, and I get highly offended by that. That's like propaganda against the Catholic Church.
Well, I mean the priest stuff. I mean, I believe that.
They're everywhere. They're not just. It's a mental illness. They're not just stuck in just the Catholic Church. You know what I'm saying? And it happened 40 years ago, and now all of a sudden they want to pay everybody. What? Did you have proof of that happening? Because I grew up Catholic, and nobody ever touched me.
But see, I don't. As far as the priest, that's kind of a sensitive issue because it's dealing with religion. But I don't know why anybody would attack just them.
Always anytime I needed help, they helped me. I never had not one. I was scared to death of the nuns. And the priests, if you ever needed help, they would help you.
Well, to be fair, a lot of the stories I've heard about the priests, they're touching the boys, not the girls.
I understand that. But you know what? That's like gayness and pedophilia. I mean, it's child abuse. But that's everywhere. They had a rabbi that was arrested, and he was married, okay? Because people are saying, oh, they don't let them have sex. That's why they're doing this with children. What are you saying?
Nah, I think what happens. I think what's going on is that you may have pedophiles.
It's everywhere.
But hold on.
It's at work.
Wait. I think what's happening.
Okay.
is that you have pedophiles that are attracted to being a priest because they have access to boys.
I don't think so. They go to college for a long, long time. I don't think it's just that.
Well,
I think if you're mentally ill and you have that in you, it's everywhere, not just one religion.
Okay.
You know, I mean, if say I was 14 years old and I was raped, okay? Now I'm 60 years old. Oh, can I come out and get free money? Huh? Can I do that? No, you can't. You better have proof. So, I mean, I just don't get that whole thing. I find it hard to believe when a good man like Matt Gaetz is being accused of that. Very hard to believe.
Well,
Very hard
okay,
to believe.
but it's kind of a sensitive topic, so I'm gonna just say this. Hopefully, the allegations are false against Matt Gaetz. Hopefully, but it might not be, and we're going to see what happens. Let's let the evidence play out. Let's let any kind of investigation play out.
I'm saying, leave it. He said I have all the proof, so I'm not one bit worried about it.
Let's let him bring the proof out. Let's let him bring the proof out, and then have that be that. But I'm gonna get to a few more calls. Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Okay, wait. I just got to ask you one question.
Very quickly,
okay?
please. Quickly.
I turned on the TV today and went to YouTube and I have a whole bunch of shows that I watch, and you're one of them. Everything was turned off.
You said what now?
I can't even answer or chat or anything.
You said what happened?
I can't answer a chat or anything. It's all in Microsoft. It's a problem with Microsoft. I think the Microsoft Edge.
I don't know anything about that.
More I try to fix that crap, the worse it gets.
You got to call the IT department. I don't know about that one. So thank you for your call.
Huh?
So you got to call the IT department. Thank you for
Thank you.
All right.
I love you. Bye.
All right. Shout out to the caller. Yeah, but you got to call the IT department on that one and get that together. I can help you with that with your computer problem. So shout out to the caller. Great call. All right. Let's get to some more here. All right, called in on line 617. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, ABL.
This is me.
Hey, my name is Leslie. I'm calling from Boston. Your show is awesome.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
You're amazing. This is the first time I actually got to see you live, so I've been catching you after the fact. I just want to say God bless you, and you're definitely speaking the right way agenda for the people, for people who don't have platforms, and I think you're amazing. And I just wanted to briefly just touch base on a topic about the immigrants, undocumented immigrants working here in the United States. And it's funny that you're bringing this topic up because I have an uncle who's here, and he went through ICE. When you get caught at the legal port of entry, and we're trying to do things the right way with hiring lawyers, and it costs a lot of money. And to do it the right way, my family came here from Honduras when in the 50s, and you had to apply legally and live in Mexico legally for a year. And this was in the 50s with my grandmother, my mom, and my uncle and aunt. And the way that is, the loopholes, like the gentleman from Nevada was saying, a lot of undocumented immigrants live better than we, the people of the United States. And I am like you, fearful. Like, if you do something wrong, we don't get, we get chastised. We get put into prison. And I always say, I am not going to commit treason against my country or illegal activities. And I had to, get a lawyer. I'm on 3 lawyers now.
Wow.
And apply for an EIN, for the legal employment identification number. Because if you want to work in this country, you must be a law-abiding citizen. You must apply for the legal, way to remain as a citizen with a court date and, do it all the legal way. And you pay for it. You know what I mean? You get what you pay for, as they say in the end. And, you are correct in every stance of the way of what you're saying on every topic that you have on your show. And that's why I had to call up, because you inspire like the cesspool of evil that's going on right now. You are one of the beacons of light. And I just wanted to commend you on all your viewpoints, because you're correct, sir. And I think that, your show is awesome. And I was trying to call in, and I think you're great. I really, really appreciate what your stance is for America, because it's not the America that we grew up with. And it makes me very sad, because I am first generation American, and I'm very, very proud and fortunate to be born here. And the people who come here the legal way, it's hard. But this is the land of opportunity. And that's one thing that my family has always taught us as first generation American kids. This is the land of opportunity. You can do whatever you want to be, as long as you love your God, love your country, and do things the correct way. And you'll never have to look over your shoulder. And I just wanted to commend you on all the awesomeness that you do for your platform. And just keep up the great work, because like I said, I was really inspired by watching your shows, and I've been watching you for about a year or so. And I just think you're great. So that's pretty much my 2 cents. I just wanted to say, and it's unfortunate that immigrants who do come here undocumented, they have the money to go do things the wrong way, when they should just take the money and do it the right way. Be a contributing member to society. Don't be a delinquent, degenerate dirtbag at the end of the day, because you're either, as the guy said, you can't be half pregnant. You're either doing things correctly or incorrectly, which is illegal or legal. Which avenue do you want to pursue?
There you go. Right on. Thank you for your call. I appreciate you.
Thank you. God bless you, ABL. You're awesome. I love you. Thank you so much for everything that you do.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Bye.
All righty. Great call. Excellent call. Shout out to the caller. Fantastic. You guys are the best. I'm telling you, the best audience anywhere on the internet is just right here on ABL Live. There's no denying it. Not in the least bit. Not at all. Yeah. Everybody got to follow the law. And you wouldn't be afraid. You wouldn't have any kind of fear. You wouldn't have any of that. Nothing if you just did right. Just do right and you'll be right. You'll be all right. You won't have any kind of issues. Not at all. Okay. So I think that will be it. Let me try to get one more. And then I think I'll be good to go. If you guys like what you're hearing so far, go ahead and get the video a thumbs up. Of course, if you're not subscribed yet, I don't know what you're waiting on. I don't know what I got to do. I don't got to know, who I got to call, Ghostbusters. But go ahead and subscribe to the channel. It's free. I promise. All right, Magnificent. What's going on?
What's going on, man? Long time no talk.
Yeah, man. It's been a minute. What's happening?
Man, so I feel like with this whole vaccine passport, it just seems like we're going on a very dark path. And it's disturbing that, we got some red states, you got red governors and state legislatures that are Republican. But so far, only Ron DeSantis here in Florida has spoken out. And I just want to know, in Tennessee, is it the same thing there? Have any lawmakers up there said anything about executive orders or trying to push back against vaccine passports?
I've not heard anything for or against the vaccine passport as of yet, because it's still kind of new, I think. But hopefully we'll do it. As far as like the mask mandate, we still have them here, but nobody follows it. Matter of fact, the police chief got on TV and said we're not going to enforce it. So you pretty much do whatever we want to do. We're like back to normal here. So I don't think that's going to be a thing here, because if masks aren't a thing here, really, if you don't want it, then why would a vaccine passport be a thing? So I think you'll have Bill Lee come out and speak against that. And I know people here that are in local Congress and whatnot. I've met them. I talked to them. I got their phone number. And I'm going to ask them, like, hey, what we going to do about that? And I think that I'll get the correct answer.
Yeah. Yeah. Because, see, the thing is, like, we don't have a mask mandate in Florida, but these big corporations like Costco, for example, they will hound you.
Yeah.
You know, where I live, I can go into Publix and all these other little small places without a mask, but I go to Costco every like couple months and they make you put on a mask. And I feel like these corporations, they're taking direction and serving the interests of like Biden and, you know, the government. They're saying we're going to enforce it anyway, even though Ron DeSantis said there's no mask mandate here. So how do we get around these corporations kind of enforcing it on the government's behalf? Because that's what it feels like.
It's going to have to be some kind of legislation drawn up to prevent them from superseding what the government of a state says. Like, they can't just come into a place and just do whatever they want to do. Okay, you're a corporation, you have certain rights as a business, but you can't just do whatever. I mean, you can't, you know, abuse your customers. You can't steal from them. You can't take things that you shouldn't be taking as far as data. Like, you still got to follow law in a place. And I think there should be some law that says, okay, you cannot require a person to reveal their medical status to you, because that's what it is. If it's a vaccine passport, you got to reveal your medical status. Have you been vaccinated? Have you not been vaccinated? And which one you got? That should be private information that you can't know as a corporation in a particular place. So it had to be in that particular realm. Now, if you can pass that, then I think we'll be able to get beyond this whole, vaccine passport thing.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that this forces the issue for, you know, with Ron DeSantis saying that vaccine passports aren't even going to be on the table in Florida. I'm hoping he goes a step further with the mask mandates, because it's just getting ridiculous. I mean, there's no end date. They haven't said we're going to mask up until X date, because we know it's not real. We know they'll just shift the goalposts out. It's all about just controlling people, making people submissive and docile and all that. But I'm just so over this, man. It's been a full year and you still got people muzzling themselves driving down the street. It's just crazy.
That's right. It's crazy, man. It's time to move on. Like, we know that the masks aren't really what's the problem. They said 80% of those that died or got put on the vent were overweight or obese. People are getting their vaccines and then eating the big donut right at the same time, and they're already fat. That's the problem right there, not the actual the virus itself, in my opinion.
Right. And then the vaccine itself, not FDA approved. These vaccine companies are exempt from liability. You got all these side effects, even though it's like one or two people. I mean, one is too many, like they say with the virus. One is too many. One life is too many. But you got a dude, his skin fell off, people's teeth falling out, just crazy side effects for a virus with what, a 99% survival rate. So it's like, it doesn't even make sense from that standpoint to try to enforce these vaccine passports. But it seems like these corporations, like I said, they're going their own route. The Miami Heat, now they got a little section just for vaccinated people. Wow. It's like, if you got vaccinated, why do you need to sit in your own section? Why can't we just reach herd immunity through people naturally becoming immune to the virus? Why do you need to get the jab?
Exactly. It makes sense to me.
Yeah. Yeah, man. But I just wanted to call in and just get your thoughts on that. I know you're about to be wrapping up the show, but long time no talk, man. Big fan of what you do. Keep it up.
I thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
So thank you to Mike Nificent for coming on the show. Mike Nificent. You guys follow his channel, Mike Nificent. And if he is in the chat, let me see if I can pull his name up. Okay, let's go to his channel right quick. I put it right there in the box so you guys can find it. You can also catch him on Right Side Broadcasting, RSBN, if I'm not mistaken, Mike, if you're still on there. Yep. So let me go ahead and put his channel right here in the box. If you guys all should be subscribed to him already, but if you're not, I'll go ahead and put his link right here. And there we go. All righty. So that'll be a wrap for calls tonight. I thank you guys. You guys are the best. Don't go nowhere yet. I got super chats to read right quick, and then I wrap it on up, put the bow on the top. Okay. And again, thank y'all for being here. Shout out to all the mods for doing a great job keeping them trolls in check, the trolls in line. You guys are fantastic. You know who you are. So thank you, mods. Thank you to everybody that's been viewing, sharing, reposting, subscribing, whatever you're doing. Thank you. And I got super chats to read right here, and then I'm wrapping on up, put the bow on the top. Shout out to, let me see, where was I at last? Thank you to Love Live Serve, who says, hilarious to hear people complaining about Zoom classes being hard like they aren't cheating on all their classes. Maybe try turning off TikTok. Shout out to Wendigo, who says, if everyone sold their stock in woke companies at the same time, the whole shebang would collapse. Yeah, you're right about that. The anti-view says, Oxford to retire teaching of Beethoven and Mozart and other colonial white supremacist music. They will now offer musical degrees in Wapen Montero. And you know what? If they offered the last one for real, I wouldn't even be surprised. I wouldn't even be surprised. Matter of fact, I may do a video on that. The banning sheet music. Yeah, I may do a video on that. Hold on. What was that? They're gonna ban. Let me see. Okay, there it is. Let me find the story just so I can. The headline from RT. Shout out to RT. Says writing music down like Mozart did is white hegemony. Proposed reform of Oxford's curriculum reportedly claims. So sheet music, that's racist. And you know what that is? You know what it really is? People can't read sheet music. The so-called minorities can't read sheet music anymore. So they're gonna go with something a little bit more easy. Or the so-called level the playing field. That's the bottom line. The anti-view also says, can we circle back to the first cat? What happened there? Biden is the first president not getting any. Okay, let's not. Shout out to Candy Girl, who says, you need a social security number for a TIN, so the caller is incorrect, or they have to complete an adjustment of status to receive a TIN. The anti-view, okay, so if they get a social, so if you're an illegal alien, how can you get a TIN if you need a social? I don't, that's not my wheelhouse. The anti-view says, have you seen a digital art by Hulequin? I'm mispronouncing that. WUHEQILIN, an artist defending Xinjiang. It is appalling, much like how they're committing genocide. AOC, where is she? Wolfgang says, I live in the red place and go to college, which is blue, and I love when someone chit-chats. A lot of us need dose of life when everything sucks. Shout out to Save America, to the children, who says, X22 says we should protest, but we just need the winner of the election, Trump. Justice Smith says, Ivan merch, please. Absolutely not. Never. Thank you to Angel, who says, for better or for worse, we read a Trump tweet every day. These liberals don't realize they have a silent president now. In that respect, Trump changed the game of the presidency by tweeting every day. Or we read a Trump tweet every day, or we read it. Impossible, just an opinion, says 99% are not from Mexico and 20% pay taxes. That's probably right there. I agree with you. Thank you to True Star, who says the government is committing a crime by allowing undocumented workers to pay and file taxes. Correct. Child Chill, thank you for your $20 gold emoji. I appreciate you. Thank you to Monroe Doctrine, who says, fire in Compton right now, people are claiming racism. How? So fire is racist? How? Liz C says, so it's definitely true that the vaccine passports are going to be mandatory. Hope not. Well, I mean, they're trying to develop it now. How it's rolled out and whatnot, that remains to be seen. Thank you to the anti-view, who says, I prefer Ninja Turtle Band-Aids. Yeah, give me a transformed Ninja Turtle. Give me something with some kind of like little design on it. When I was a little boy, like if I had some kind of like design or some kind of artwork on it, that was my wave. I didn't think it had to match my skin. I never thought that. It's like when you get a cast, people will draw on it. I never had a cast, but when kids they get broken bone or whatever, they get a cast, you would sign it. That was cool. Nobody ever thought as a kid, hey, my cast must match my skin tone. Who thinks that? Who would ever have that thought in their mind? Nobody cares. Thank you to Per Kayla, who says, what would happen if we anti-vaxxers didn't allow vaccinated people onto our events and restaurants? How long do you think that would be tolerated? See, good point. Thank you to Chelsea, who says, had to super chat just to say your laugh during the Band-Aid video made me LOL. And then adding stop smoking crack, did me in. Thanks for the laugh. Ain't no problem. That video was crazy. I might clip that one because that was wild. Nobody ever thinks that. I never in my life of wearing many Band-Aids from, being a boy, getting scraped up, like when I fell on a treadmill and then my knee got scraped up. I still got a little scar right there. I was looking for a Band-Aid and get some Neosporin to put on. I didn't think, oh, it must match my skin tone. Who thinks that? Why would you? Anyway. And that's why it was so hard to find as far as like the certain skin. And then my question is, okay, you got the light skin, because if you got black students, you got light skin and dark skin, right? So you're going to have like the almost beige ones, and then up to my skin tone and a little bit darker. You're going to have to get that skin tone right there. This is my granddad. He was like this. Like, I'm light skin compared to them, but that's a different story. So you got to get every tone under the rainbow, like makeup or something. Thank you to Lewis from Spain, who says, illegals paying taxes argument. Really? Of course. After stealing jobs that doesn't belong to them. So 2 crimes already, and 3 for bragging about it. Hey, he said it, not me. And shout out to my man, Lewis from Spain. Thank you to Liz C, who says, I missed it if you respond to ABL, but it's definitely for sure that they are making the vaccine passport event. Okay. Thank you to, let me see. Where was I at? Thank you to Dizzy, who says, ABL, big supporter. I'm going to be the second to have the 76 Union wooden flag like yours. Can you put in a good word with Robin to expedite my order? Well, thank you for getting the 76 Union right here. It's a beautiful flag. And when you see it in person, it's like a true work of art. It looks beautiful right there, but when you see it, you get to see the details and stuff. Oh, it's really, really beautiful. And if you want one of those flags, by the way, anybody in the chat, go to bhedesigns.com. Matter of fact, I'll go ahead and put a link right here in the chat. Yeah, get your nice wooden flag, different sizes, large, medium, small. These are 48, pardon me, by 26. So it's about a 4 foot by 2 foot. If you're looking for a flag, it's that size. If you want these that are on my wall, this is probably about maybe about 8 foot away from me right now that I'm sitting down. But they're pretty nice size. All right, and let me go back to where I was on the super chats and wrap it on up. Shout out to Eunice, who says, just wanted to say we love you and appreciate you. You work hard to give us great content. Thank you. I appreciate y'all. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you to Annie Goldhart, who says, ABL, maybe we should pitch, what would you do if a Karen screamed your Band-Aid was racist before it gets applied to John Quinones? I wonder once more, why Dr. Seuss banned again? Hey, we're gonna ban Dr. Seuss, and we're gonna put in Lil Nas X, Montero, and other drag queen storytime and stuff like that. All right. Shout out to Dizzy Spider 45, who says, ABL, comment on saying goodbye to tax advantage of 401k courtesy of the rebranded Biden-Harris administration. Biden wants another $2.5 trillion. It's tax and spend, same old, same old. Andy Goldhart says, ABL, a colleague thanked me for referring your channel to him. We thoroughly enjoy and support your content. Thanks for the great platform. Thank you. Thank you for the recommendation. I appreciate you. You know, everybody, each one teach one, right? Let me see. I'm reading a comment right here. Madonna Anderson says, I don't know a soul that is the color of a Band-Aid, but the cloth ones are better and they're woke because they're much darker. I'm going to get one of those, matter of fact, the cloth ones. Because my first aid kit, I have no idea what color the Band-Aids are on my first aid kit, but I know that if I get some kind of cut, some kind of injury, I'm going to just use whatever's in there and get it rolling. Maury Speeds the Beast says, people like you, B. Tatum, Candace Owens, Kevin Samuels, my man, my dog, Marcus Rogers, and more were sent by God to speak the truth. I know you're not religious, but y'all speak more effective truth than most modern-day pastors. Wow, thank you for that. I appreciate you. Thank you. It means a lot to me. It really does. Miles Davis says they're trying to cancel the dislike button on YouTube because every time Harrison Biden YouTube, they get majority dislikes. Of course, they don't want to get that. They don't want to see that ratio anymore, that big ratio of dislikes to likes. It'd be 100,000 dislikes and 1,000 likes. Sonia says, if you're on Instagram, I'm Sonia's_scrapbook over there. Have a good night. Cisse Broadway. The anti-view says, this is what I'm saying. So if I put the wrong tone on, will it be a hate crime? Hey, that's what they'll say. I don't particularly care. As long as I'm not bleeding no more, it's fine. Tyrannia says vaccine modifies your genes. Bill Gates is pushing it. May want to think twice before getting it. And Cold Haterade says people crazy enough to believe anything under the sun are racist, belong in patent cells. Our next Republican president should focus on building more of those patent cells for the nut jobs. And that get to _scar 1776 who says, do you think big companies will mandate their employees take the vaccine? They already have. That's already happened, unfortunately. Hopefully, we can pass some laws to prevent that from going on anymore, because I shouldn't be forced to take this vaccine that I don't even know will be effective or it may harm me to work at your particular company. That shouldn't be legal. All right, so thank y'all for being here yet again. You guys are the best audience on the internet. Again, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and that'll be it. So I'll be back live again Saturday at 8 p.m. Follow the Instagram, instagram.com/Anthony B. Logan, Twitter /Anthony B. Logan, and Facebook, same thing, Anthony B. Logan. Follow me over there. And that's all I got for tonight. So until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out. And peace.